emotions, but I'm clueless. All I hear is trap music and them views is going stupid. Who's it that's gonna view your music? It's the youth, and look at what you doing to them. We the problem, my own people, we the reason for our ruin. Damn, hey, we were slaves, but there's another side. Come back to freedom as an Israelite. You want the riches, well, keep God commandments. You want the wisdom, come get understanding. You want the crown, but the path to it mighty dangerous. Hey, I ain't grow up till I realize the right mind, the real prize. Recognize the Lord has something for me as an Israelite. We've been killing our own people. Tell me, is it cause of pride? Whole world coming to an end, so I had to slide. And so I had to slide by God's side. Teaching to the youth about the truth is how I live my life. Knowing that I'm doing positive, help me sleep at night. Knowing that I'm one of God's kids make me feel alright. Hey, yeah, it make me feel alright. And you can live this life too, just need to get your mind right. Yeah, you just need to get your mind right. Hey, you can live this life too, just need to get your mind right. They thought I was done, I'm not. I'm back on the block, ain't talking about slinging no rock. Knock out the giants with scripture, I don't need a weapon. Somehow they still say I'm like pop. I tell them pull up, the show didn't stop. This spot is good enough to teach to the flock. We go to war for our people every time. Just cause we know it's done, we gotta watch. We hit the streets to bring in the strangers. Preach to the hood, we used to the danger. Whether it's sunny or whether it's storm, we gotta bring them the word of the Lord. Here's coming about a mile away. War cry, got the block shaking. I ain't made it, but I fight daily. I don't want the Lord to replace me. I don't need a speaker at camp. I put in the work cause I wanna be stamped. My brother, he bringing it out and I'm amped. The haters, they left, so we had to revamp. New logo, new garment, same vision, same doctrine, same leaders, same souls, willing to follow. I wanna be found in that number. I wanna be part of the 100.
Hey, how you been doing?
I'm tapped in.
Hey, how you been living?
Repenting.
Hey, what been the move?
God's mission.
Hey, what keep you going?
Ambition.
Hey, how you been doing?
I'm tapped in.
Hey, how you been living?
Repenting.
Hey, what been the move?
God's mission.
Hey, what keep you going?
Yeah, ambition. They thought the Rona was stopping the word. They thought the slander would hinder the church. They hope we stop and go back to the world. Mad cause we constantly travel the earth. New church in a different city. Christian church getting left empty. We done with the lies, repenting. Won't stop till it's done, complete a mission. Ain't sad with the blues, but I stay boarded. Whole garment, that's 4 quarters. Incoming, that's the 4th quarter. Kingdom of heaven, new world order. You preaching the name again. You preaching for fame again. Your honor been stayed again. You acting the same again. You came with your weapons, but we got the Bible. We came to win.
Hey, how you been living?
Repenting.
Hey, what been the move?
God's mission.
Hey, what keep you going?
Ambition.
Hey, how you been doing?
I'm tapped in.
Hey, how you been living?
Repenting.
Hey, what been the move?
God's mission.
Hey, what keep you going?
Ambition.
Hey, how you been doing?
I'm tapped in.
Hey, how you been living?
Repenting.
Hey, what been the move?
God's mission.
Hey, what keep you going?
Ambition.
Hey, how you been doing?
I'm tapped in.
Hey, how you been living?
Repenting.
Hey, what been the move?
God's mission.
Hey, what keep you going?
Ambition.
Hey.
Okay, then you crazy.
Yeah. We waking them up, ain't no hitting the snooze. Pick apart your religion, I know that you choose. Part ways with the devil, I rose to a level. They counting me out while I'm counting the cost. And I'm cold like the frost on your window and dead of the winter. I know that they send the pretenders, inspired our members, but we never catch none of the shots that you sent us in. We got a ruthless method just to check it. Sayonara, goodbye, getting disrespectful. Good guy, no card for the incidentals. The damage you cause must be paid with your head. They raging war in the land, but that land is the land of the saints. God chosen people is something you ain't. Know we the tribes, and now they won't file a complaint. Confident we the saints, so the burden of proof is on you and your crew. Who are you really? I give you a clue. Who changed the face of the judges? Who live by the sword and they weapons? Who telling the lies about Jesus? Who changed his appearance and features? What country adopted the eagle? That nation, the eater.
Just taught the Bible in a whole different language. These niggas outside town getting dangerous. Never been to London, but I got me a Cambridge. Heavyweight, big dog, got it. Try it if you want. Bible in a holster, fire in the hole. Look at the scope, 500 though. You not the real guys like I didn't know. Not surprised if you lie, surprised if you don't. K's-R, reject, we net. You stuck, we blessed, we are. Revelation 2 and 9. 3 say that you bowing down. Face the grind, lick dust, fix some crime, switch it.
Where my real Jews at? Where the real Jews go? I got swords in the air. We got boots on the floor. Where my real Jews at? Where the real Jews go? Put your swords in the air. Get your boots on the floor.
I know what they saying, I read lips in between lines. Bunch of dead folks, I can see signs. In other words, flip from these times. Gotta put in work in the meantime. ADL, they can get it. APAC, in fact, they can quit it. Slavery, I never will forget it. And with my God, you'll never be acquitted. I know it's offensive, that's why I said it. All gas, no brakes, cause we never unlet it. Cut a dots in the pieces like confetti. Get it done like a bride for the wedding. I'm with all the festivities. See them rockers red glare, no sympathy. Fire rain is supernatural disaster. When these bastards meet the master.
Read a scripture for the listener and his sister. Next break when we paint the picture. Mother missed the father, skipped the left the bitter. Bad taste mixing with the liquor. Whoa, we walked in the trap and that's c'est la vie. And that's courtesy for my enemies. In the block in the eye, come on, Venaki. Eat them, go mark run the clock, they want that for me. But we do what we supposed to. Put in the work while you sit on the sofa. Precepts is colder than North of Dakota. Student of Christ, I just pray for diploma. We taking over, as it is written, I thought that we told you. Out in the country, then back up the coaster. Look at the signs, it's already over. Priest to the blind on behalf of Jehovah. They want detain us locked up, man, they want to stain us. Locked down, man, they want to famous. I've gone somewhere more than heinous. Not long till it's more than dangerous, I know. Ain't it a tragedy? My bishop shoot from the hip with 100% of the accuracy. Why they be mad at me? We taking over and busy awaiting and waiting the second return of his majesty. I got 144 and we deep. I don't lie, but I practice what I preach. Man, we only keep the laws, we ain't keeping what you keep. Keep the Bible on my hip, and I'm praying that you reach. Cause we teach, hoping that you guys will see what we see, but you don't. You just tell me what you want. We just hit the block and feed the flock, just how we supposed to. And it go just how we planned it, teaching statutes and commandments to the famished of the land. They know that we causing damage.
We gon' beat them up. Sure the shit they talking can amount the bricks we adding up. Taking our respect won't be no L's, a dub is coming up. Take a different route, no doubt they see the boys is coming up. Even though they yapping, what you talking about?
This ain't 9 to 5, it's 247, so we work. All those go to hell, prophets go to heaven, so we work. Clock out last, so it works. Go berserk for the church, for the king to the dirt. We don't smirk, we alert. I don't watch my tone, I watch angels put in work. You don't want no smoke, we burn frankincense and hit the curb with the word for the curse. That's dispersed every corner of the earth, so I don't know what you talking about.
We gon' beat them up. Sure the shit they talking can amount the bricks we adding up. Taking our respect won't be no L's, a dub is coming up. Take a different route, no doubt they see the boys is coming up. Even though they yet we see them boys is out. Yes, simp. If they don't, we draw the line. Get a clue on how we do. Boy can't cast a pros of swine. Out there talking beef. Guess they really don't know what's really at stake, huh? Dog can't move his tongue against the kin. Boy, wish he say something. Trash gon' feed on God, crumb. Trash gon' feed on God. We gon' beat them up. Sure this shit they talking can amount the bricks we adding up. Taking our respect won't be no L's. A dub is coming, duh. Take a different route, no doubt they see the boys is coming up. Even though they yapping, what you talking about?
I'm in the battle for life. I gotta fight for my right. That's biblical rights, not physical rights. They blinded your sight. You think that they for you, but this is a war zone.
This is a war zone.
Yes, this is a war zone. Hey, tell them we need our advances, and if they ain't got it, then they gotta double up. The payback is troublesome. Prove my identity. If you need scriptures, then we got 100 of them. Ain't risking my freedom, cause I never had that. Descendant of God. Even if this was tennis, boy, you couldn't match that. Striked out, we the light, and you couldn't match that. The Sabbath is here, the building was swole, Boy, you know we packed that. I know they tired of the songs of repentance. I know they praying the Lord don't revenge us. I know I might lose it all if I'm sinning. I know the ending been fixed from beginning, but hey, your pastor really a heathen. What has he really been teaching? I'm back on my grizzy, but oops, I mean spiritually. I gotta keep my foot right on the net. It wasn't just physically, destroyed us mentally. Now we just coming to cashing our check. My people rap about cars and baguettes. My people still got them chains on their neck. Talk about freedom, but what is this freedom you speak?
How you scream freedom and we in the war? We beg for mercy and they kill us more. We think they changed from what they did before. You trust in them and I trust in the Lord. I can't forget what they did to my father. I can't forget what they did to our mother.
Hey, I'm in the battle for life. I gotta fight for my right. That's biblical rights, not physical rights. They blinded your sight. You think that they for you, but this is a war zone. Yes, this is a war zone.
Trey A, still young. Got a lot of fight in this dog. Never run when it's war. Gotta bite with a spark. Gotta bring the light to the dark. And the brights go hard like Flint water. Better pay respect to a guard. Never left a tour. Seen a lot of death in this war. Got a vest in the sword. Still stressing them boys. The devil head on no detours. Had to get it from the ground. No B-boy. Israel united and Christ be the engine. We teach you repentance, don't get destroyed. Gotta get it for the kingdom and I need that. Can't look back, can't relapse. I ride with the bishops, won't quit till it's finished. A lion, a Judah, no kitty cat. Now pick up the news, we are the Jews. We got the proof.
It's that time again, yeah. Ya la hora, you know, power hour. Ponle atención, class is in session. Tune in for an hour, maybe more, that's a blessing. Learn from the captains and the leadership. Flee from religion, cause them churches never teaching everything you learn for your benefit. Line upon line is a requisite. Never take a deficit. Yeah, that mean you take a loss if you stray from the way. You get the understanding if you study every day. Apply what you learn and bless when you pray. It's one interpretation, man, it's say what it say. Ya viene el tiempo, entra para el templo, aprende del maestro con talento. La Biblia es el centro, usando a Israel como instrumento. No te pierdas en doctrina como viento. Estudia y ora y aplica. Tiempo para Dios, ven, hace una cita. Escritura dinamita, morenos y hispanos israelitas. Oye cómo explica Israel unido en Cristo para la vida, nunca se divida. And it's the power hour. Learn your family history, don't be a coward. Yeah, tune in, it's the power hour. I said learn your family history, don't be a coward.
Yeah, history to learn. It's the power hour. The 11th hour. Tune in to your history. You know it ain't no mystery. Power hour. The 11th hour. You gonna get your history. 11th hour. Power hour.
Oh, shalom. See, I was ready to start off with energy,
Yeah.
and then I hear just the
Right. Womp, womp,
womp, womp, womp.
And then the dry cutout.
Here we go. Hold on. And go.
Welcome to the Power Hour Plus.
Yeah.
I'm Deacon Joshua.
Uh-huh. And this guy.
This guy.
Yeah, who is this guy?
I'm this guy.
This guy.
Shy up my phone.
This guy.
Uh-huh.
This guy here.
Right. That one right there.
Pray for me.
No, don't pray for him.
Oh, Lord.
Listen.
Look, I'm all messed up. I was gonna say the bad word. I'm all messed up.
Listen.
Pray for me. There's a video.
Listen.
That I
No,
saw.
nobody needs to. They don't even know what to pray for you for. Messed up for what?
Right.
For dropping the ball, man. I'm gonna be straight.
So-
I've been dropping the ball for 2 months.
So
man.
you know, we used to have a call-in number.
Oh man.
And the call-in number, it was easy because when we started the show, we started with Blog Talk as the radio platform.
Right.
Because I think, when did we start doing it on Wednesdays?
Oh.
2019.
Okay. All
Wow,
right.
it's a long time
2020,
ago.
2019.
But we had started it, maybe going into 2020, 20. I think you're right, around there.
Yep.
2020?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so 2020. Prior to that, we were doing the show probably 2-3 years with Blog Talk and exclusively on Facebook. Right?
Yep.
And what was nice about the Blog Talk was because they gave you kind of the call-in platform. You know, this is before we started really expanding on the radio shows, and you know, some shows have the Zoom feature to call in, right? So Blog Talk kind of went out of business, right? They sent an email and they were like, "Look, we haven't been supporting our stuff. We're shutting down." And I sent it to these guys, primarily him.
Because a prudent man foreseeth the evil.
Right. And I said, hey, we were getting some complaints that people can't call in. I mean, not that we ever got a ton of call-ins,
But it's nice.
but occasionally, if the topic was moving,
Right.
people would want to call in. This was 2 months ago now, and I said, hey, we got to come up with something
60 days.
for call-ins. I said, you know, Fix Your Face does the
Right.
Zoom. I said maybe
Very well.
maybe we could set up a Zoom, and it's always yeah blah 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 blah. And then I come today, and we still have no way to call in, no way for anybody to communicate with us.
God damn it.
Did we get the rhino on the bottom?
Yes, we did.
We did? Where's it
Yes.
at?
Where's it at?
I don't see it.
You
don't
got to
see
be
it
able to see it on YouTube.
I'm
man.
on YouTube.
I'm on YouTube right now.
YouTube right
I'm on
now.
YouTube right now.
Oh, Daniel, show them what we got, man. Come on.
So I'm asking him what happened, and
Right.
there's no reason except to say, damn, I messed up.
I dropped the egg.
You know what it is, man? And I got to tell you, I've been a victim of it, too. People don't utilize anything to keep them on target with the multiple things that they're dealing with. We let our lives lead us,
Yes.
and then we do it under the guise of my life's too chaotic to have a plan or to have a structure. But I would argue that you need it even more.
We're always reacting.
You need something, like when we were talking about the youth violence, you need a compass. You need something that you can default back to when things get chaotic, right? Your day is never going to go perfect. Well, I mean, not say never, rarely does. So, you know, you can write a whole list down. It's almost like the same reason a lot of people think they have a budget and they don't.
Right.
They don't manage their whole personal finances economically. They just, they think their budget is I get paid, I pay these bills, and whatever's left, I do what I can with.
That's great.
And it's much more complex than that.
Right.
This is why typically our people never get to save.
Invest.
Invest. You have the whole tax refund thing where it's in and out.
Man.
And then our people ignorantly think that's free money. That's actually money you loaned to the government interest free.
Right.
It's a savings
Right.
you couldn't touch.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what you really should be doing is finding a number of exemptions, right?
Right.
And take this with a grain of salt. Everybody has their own thing. Don't take this as
This is
financial
not
advice.
financial advice.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you manipulate your exemptions so that you keep more of your check every week and less goes to them. But what happens is you may not get a return or you might have to pay a little.
Right.
But you've kept all that money. So if you get a $10,000 return every year, you could have had that $10,000 throughout the year.
Working for you.
But some people say, well, I didn't like it because it's 10,000 broken up over, 52 weeks or, 26 weeks if you get paid bi-weekly, right? You still, if you wanted to do that, then could have took that money and put it in something short term for like a year that you can liquidate around tax time every year and actually earn a little something on interest for yourself.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you
so,
get paid interest.
so you keep your check, whatever you're accustomed to now, keep more of that, and then take that portion, immediately split your direct deposit or whatever, put it into some sort of savings or something that, maybe you can't touch for like a year or that you're disciplined enough not to touch it for a year. And then around tax time, you pull that out for you. You're not going to get a lot of interest. It depends on the environment. If you're putting it in conservative things that protect your principal.
But it's yours.
But then it's yours and you have a little money. But we don't do that. We like the big hit. We think we won the lotto. We go nuts. We buy all the time. I remember one time my youngest sister, I forgot what it was and how it came up. But long story short, I was talking to her and I said, damn, I said, your whole tax money's gone already? I said, you didn't do nothing constructive with it or whatever. She's like, I never had anything, so I want to buy stuff, all right? So, because she bought mad kicks and mad clothes and stuff like that. I never had anything, so I want to buy stuff.
Yo, that's how my mama
I said,
was.
that's a damn chill.
Man, damn, the demon came out of
And for real, I said, damn.
Let me have this.
Let me have
Right. Damn.
We don't do it. But going back to my thing, it's just, see, now it's making me think of the habits.
Right.
Fruits of self-control. Remember I did that some
Fire
years back?
series.
Yes.
Check
Hey,
it out. IUIC
pull that up.
Phoenix.
Pull that up. All right.
I did that a few years back, the fruits of self-control.
Pull that up. Fruits of self-control.
YouTube.
IUIC
I think we think more of ourselves than where we're really at with our ability to handle things.
Right.
Getting by and thriving
It's two different
are
things.
two different things.
Right.
And I think we're so accustomed to just getting by that we think it's all right.
Right.
And I'm not talking about setting up treasures on earth and trying to be rich, but there's just sound, responsible things that you can do. And I'm telling you, it's going back to this thing with the freaking debacle of not having a call-in number.
Right.
Right there, those two. Zoom out.
I guarantee you this guy has no type of system as to how he manages his task and his priorities and stuff he has to do.
No, sir, I do not.
Nothing. Do you use reminders on your phone?
I like using somewhat, but I haven't stuck to them.
So
Right?
that is
And let me tell you something.
no,
even
that's a no. I
even
haven't stuck
that
to it. Yeah.
we become desensitized to because
Right.
we get alerts all the time. No matter how they try to with AI summarize your alerts, no matter how much you try to, we're so used to having so much in front of us. What was meant to be useful now becomes like, so. Ironically enough, going back to something where you write something down and then add in the technology as you go is going to help you more.
Right.
So
That's
start off with paper.
I think people should start off. I think for that aspect of things, start off with paper and fill in with technology as needed.
I retain way more when I write it down as opposed to when I type it.
Well, they say that's like learning modalities, right? Some people, you like. It depends on the individual, but like some people are visual, so they'll retain more visually. Then you add some people are auditory, so you'll retain more by hearing. Then when you combine the two, where you see and you hear, you retain even more. And I was the type in school that I took notes, but I never used my notes. But between watching the lecture, hearing the lecture, and writing it down as they did it, I was able to ace what I was strong in.
Right. Yep.
I never really had to study that much or anything. And I'm not saying everybody has to be that way. There's nothing wrong if you study. But if you don't have something to go back to do it, right? I mean,
you don't even have the choice.
Right. Yeah. So once you combine all that together, so there's something to be said for writing. And I'm telling you, I can say this from personal experience. When I stray away from that structure, so much more slips through the cracks of what I need to get done. And it becomes problematic, and I'm more stressed, right? I see I was going to go over this when I did the new moon class last. That's the part that I didn't get to go to as I was shifting
time.
And one of the things too is the biggest way you fight the procrastination is do it now.
Yes.
Do it now.
There was an Edomite on like a TED talk. She said it's a 2-second rule. Once the thought comes in your mind, you have 2 seconds to make a decision.
Do it now.
Right.
Right. And the thing is, obviously you're not going to do everything now, but don't put it off.
Right.
When you keep moving it, see that's the snooze mentality, right?
Yeah.
That's the brother or sister that has to set 5 alarm clocks, right? Or they hit snooze 6 times, right? So really they want to wake up at 7, but they set the alarm at 6:30 so they could hit 3 snoozes.
Right.
Where if you would have just been able to set it for 7, you have an uninterrupted extra 30 minutes of sleep.
Right.
Boom, jump out. Right.
Right.
Or people skip breakfast because they rather sleep 15 more minutes or whatever it is. I mean, it's multifactorial. The whole point is, when you really sit down and think about it, functioning and thriving are 2 different things. And people think because they get through their day and they're this and that, but like if you get through your day and you don't feel satisfied and you still feel overwhelmed, and you still know you have so much waiting for you, you didn't run your day ran you.
Right.
See,
and I have days like that. Even when I do write things down, I have days like that. It's very it's very difficult for people to change. It's very difficult for people to maintain discipline in things that are not necessarily pleasurable. Right? You're disciplined in making sure you watch your favorite series from episode 1 to episode 10.
It is true.
Binging.
You're disciplined to make sure you eat whatever your meal is or whatever your strong drink that you like every Friday night, Saturday night.
Right.
You never forget to hit the liquor store and get your little bottle of your favorite drink. You know what I'm saying? So you're always disciplined in something, but typically it's not the things that we're productive in.
Right.
But anyway, I digress. That's like for another topic, self-improvement stuff.
Real quick. So
hold on, before you real quick me.
Well, I wanted to ask
you see how you made me take all this time?
No,
because you had me feeling a way that we don't have a freaking phone number for people to call into.
Yes. So that's.
And notice in all of this, he's yet to tell me what his solution is and when that's going to be remedied by.
It's going to be remedied by next week. Power Hour next week. Do we have Power Hour next week, or is it the following that we don't have? Next week is going to be remedied by next week. The solution is I'm going to get that new mixer in here. I get that thing going on. I've been wanting to get that thing going on in here. I got you.
So his solution is we got to spend money on a piece of equipment.
Oh, I was thinking we already had it, so we gotta buy more equipment.
Why
we already have the equipment.
Why couldn't we just do a Zoom and?
Yeah, because we just bought a mixer.
We were having last week
and say,
trouble
hey, if
with
you
Zoom.
want to call in, you could Zoom in.
We were having trouble with Zoom.
What kind of trouble?
Just setting it up.
Did we reach out to those that are adept in the Zoom call?
Brother, shh!
That's
You're making it worse.
That's a no.
Ruben! Okay. I love you, Ruben. Thank you.
See, now we are going to have to get the fan going.
Look at God. Won't he do it?
So
it didn't even take me having to like sweat. Like you got to see. Look.
No, last week you were swearing prefers.
You were prefers.
Preferred.
Hey, D.
How do you say that?
So you said.
So you wanted to show this series that I did?
Yes, I did. But I wanted to ask
why you saw it and you don't do it. God
to promote it.
Tonight's show is brought to you by the Power Hour Plus.
By IUIC TV, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
By IUIC TV. And, go ahead.
Manly Badge of Dignity.
That's right.
Original royalty.
And
support the Booster Club.
Come on, man.
So, if you'd like to, and let me tell you, my I don't want to say the stuff I went over in this class are not good anymore, but I think as we've developed and we've gone over the manosphere stuff, I think if I had to do this over, I'd have a lot more to say.
Let's go.
I'd have a lot more to say. But, sometimes you don't, like, would you remake Back to the Future?
Right.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
back
It's building
to
stones.
reality.
Back to the Future.
classic.
Like the movie Back to the Future. Would you
Right.
remake it?
No.
Right? Like I don't think you can. Like that's one that's
Yeah.
unremakeable.
It's a
Yeah,
classic.
yeah.
Like who would you cast?
Right.
You can't.
I don't think
you
it would
can't see it any other way.
I think that we've lived through some things now that was, it would just be different.
Yeah.
It would just be different.
The people wanted the redo.
But you could remake, let's say, Star Wars.
Yeah.
From 1977, A New Hope. You could remake
You could actually, yeah.
and it will come out good. But there's some things that you just can't.
Right.
Can't go back and
Just
redo
can't
it.
Right.
turn back the hands of time.
I think that's one of those classes.
Put it up.
Okay.
Put up the classes. He wants to share it, even though he didn't apply it.
Hey, I forgot my whole train of thought. So, watch. I need to go back. and rewatch.
Hey, brother Alvin, they have been shadow banning. I've been noticing it. Like it was a stark drop and depression in views and subscribers. I think something's definitely, and it's not just Phoenix and the Power Hour. I feel like all our stuff has been lower than it should be for the type of things that we collectively as IUIC, all the teachers across the board, bring out. I think it's been a little artificially suppressed.
Yeah.
Damn.
They're trying to hold back the floodgates.
I believe so.
That should let you know
The
something.
manosphere.
But the
Yeah.
waters are rising.
The manosphere.
That's what I'm saying. That
Come
should
on,
let you know
man.
something.
The real men.
Hey,
standing
D.
up.
So let me ask you this. So from the paper, you said how to integrate the technology little by little as needed. How? And can you give some examples?
Your foundation should be your planning system, and there's a whole bunch out there. Ideally, the least complicated and convoluted ones, because everybody has something. They tell you, oh, your brain works like this. Use this. Trust me, I've tried a bunch of them. Right. Find the one that works for you.
As far as like apps?
As far as physical.
Okay.
Because for some people, just a regular thing with scheduling or whatever might not be good for them. They don't know how to handle something like that, right? They don't know how to position things or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Panda Planner's a good one because they try to take they try to focus you on prioritizing, which is good, and trying not to do too much in one day, right? There's other small tweaks. I mean, these are just all little things that you can do. Like don't just write. Like if you got to do your taxes, don't just write taxes. Right? Complete tax filing. Like you got to put words in front of it that are action for you, right?
Okay, so not just taxes.
Yeah, not just taxes, not just dishes, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, put the action in front of it. Do the dishes, right? Wash the dishes, clean the dishes, right? Complete the new setup for Power Hour. Don't just put Power Hour setup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like complete the new setup for Power Hour.
Call-in number.
Right. Prioritize the call-in number.
Right.
So I don't make Deke spend 15 minutes on something that wasn't even his topic.
Right.
Plus tonight, y'all. Put the plus in the comments.
And with that being said,
I didn't give you your answer.
Oh, my bad.
And then you augment with your reminders and stuff like that. But your main thing is your planner. And here's the thing: the planner only works if you have a system around when you open it. And you got to designate a few minutes in the morning and a few minutes in the evening so that you can carry over things you didn't do or whatever to the next day and stuff like that.
That's what's cool about the Panda Planner. It makes you do a reflection in the morning, at night, weekly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you use it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't. I fell off like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm using.
it's difficult to stay in that groove, but once you build something, you do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we're all disciplined in something. It's just what is it?
Right.
Is it in productive or
Netflix,
other stuff? Right. Whatever it might be. Some of us, realize it or not, we have routines all the time.
Yeah.
You have your Instagram or TikTok routine, right? Most of you, when you use the bathroom, are on Instagram and TikTok, right? That's a routine.
Right.
You jump on Insta or TikTok or whatever your preferred social media form is.
When you're taking a crap.
Right. That's a routine,
It's
right?
a default.
When you wake up in the morning, if you have a thing where you're checking it, that's a routine. When you come home from work, when you sit down and you choose to spend whatever amount of time. And here's the thing, that's fine. But how about you put a timer to it, right? Right? And this is where you can leverage technology. Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
Yep.
Zone out. Do your scrolling. Because let me tell you, you don't realize all those little minutes from them shorts add up.
It does.
And then the algorithm is good at keeping you engaged.
Yep.
And that becomes a time waster, and you move and you move. You set your timer for 15 minutes. You respect the timer. and you stop when the timer goes off, and then you go about your evening routine.
Right.
But we don't do that. I'm telling you a lot. There's so many little time steal, and I'm telling you because I fall victim to them as well too. I'm not above them. I'm not. Trust me. I wish I could be always focused. Always, I mean, again, there's so much to it. Then you also got to know when your focus times are, right? Or how to gear yourself towards focus. There's times of the day where you're more productive versus others.
Yeah, mine is early in the morning.
And when possible, you want to schedule your most demanding attention, detail-oriented tasks during the time when you naturally feel more engaged and alert. Not always doable, right? Like we can't do that stuff. But then that's when you got to figure out how to like kind of
adjust. That's heavy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Benson.
You rang?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, was everything okay with Officer Shia? Because you mentioned scrolling in the bathroom, and he kind of shimmied a little bit.
He started glitching?
It was like, yeah,
he was
bro.
glitching?
I'm just checking on my brother to make sure he all right.
You saw that?
Yes.
He was like, damn, how you know? You watching me?
I always feel right.
I was just thinking about the other day how I spent like 40 minutes in there, bro.
Them thighs fell asleep. His legs fell asleep.
For real, you got to stand up and kick him out.
His legs got
Yo.
numb.
Oh, my
He had
God.
the imprint of the toilet seat on the
Man.
back of the thigh.
Oh, my God.
It was like sometime this week.
He had the bowl impression around his hips.
Claude, have mercy.
It was sometime this week. I was like, "Oh snap! I've been here for like 40 minutes, bro. What the heck?" And it was the Instagram videos. It was the reels.
You got sucked into the sunken place.
Yo,
That's what happened.
After I got out, I was like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "What the hell am I doing?" It was just the reels, bro. That's why you hit it. Hey, Otario, mute your mic, bro. God damn.
Oh wow, look at this. All praises. You know what? Maybe I will look at
I love you,
doing
Otario.
some
Right.
form of fruits of self-control.
Right.
Adina Wise says, Shalom Deacon, my name is Adina. I'm 19, and I won't lie. Some of your classes were tough to get through. But I kept going, right? So the medicine is worth it. You've taught me so much about self-control,
That's a
emotional
testimony.
intelligence, effective communication, discipline, and the power of rich thinking. You
Hey,
touch on
screenshot that.
points that so many people overlook when it comes to the mind has made a huge impact on me. All praises to the
Yeah.
Most High. You giving me warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
now.
Right.
Screenshot that for a testimony.
All praises. And you know why I like that? Because she sounds like somebody that's actually applied the stuff.
That part.
Because a lot of people be like, oh my God, take the class.
Right. Yeah.
What about the class? It sounded
Like
good.
this guy.
Yeah. No,
Damn.
I'm 100%.
Oh my gosh, that's fire. That's fire, Deke.
I'm 1% guilty.
40 minutes later,
I'm 100%
my leg is numb.
guilty.
Oh, I got the imprint.
I'm 100% guilty, bro. And that's why I asked you that one time some time ago. I said, "Hey, why don't you teach us a lot of good stuff? Why are we so hard-headed?" And I'll say, not only myself, and a lot of brothers here in the congregation, you bring out a lot of good stuff, and then we don't apply it. And I said, why is it that you like pour your spirit out? Like, what did Paul say? Like, I poured out my
Freely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that you've taught us about the mind, physical, health, getting in the spirit, staying in the spirit, faith not by works or works not by faith, all this, right? Bro, I am so guilty. But that's why I asked you that one time, because you don't do this just to like, oh yeah, I know this or I know these scriptures. No, you actually do it because you applied
believe.
it. You applied it. Yeah, you believe, and you want us to get better. And I'm 100% guilty. And that's the bittersweet thing about being here in IUIC Phoenix next to Deacon, because he brings out all this knowledge, and then a lot of stuff we don't apply. And I don't apply. I will say that I don't apply. There's things that I'm like, oh, that cut. Okay, let me work on that. Yeah, that's a bittersweet thing that we do.
all praises. Beautiful testimony, Adina Wise. I appreciate it. You know, I don't want to say I try to be authentic. Like, I don't think I could just be any other way. Like, it's just, you know, obviously you modify behavior in certain environments, but
that's just you.
Yeah, like he just kind of said, you know, I guess I do kind of pour myself into it when I feel strongly about something.
You do?
You know,
You do.
and I do my best to try to articulate it so that others can understand it, and hopefully apply. So
Yeah.
all praises to the Most High for that. All praises.
The sword goes two ways. Go ahead, Officer. Remember.
So, with that being said,
Hold on,
thank
But
you.
he didn't show this.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
going to say,
gosh.
hold up. Sorry.
You got to show this, and you got to put
Yeah.
the links.
Put
Full
the links
screen.
up. Put the links
All right. So going back to the fruits of self-control. This was done 3 years ago. Beautiful classes.
Has it been 3 years?
It says 3 years right there.
That's
Hey, we need more than 12K views. So he went over.
I actually think I did it longer ago than that, and it's 3 years because of the time it took to put it up.
Oh God!
Oh wow!
God, dang it!
Mm-hmm. He went over.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Watching your words, sticking to a schedule, managing your money. Scroll down. Budgeting and good health. Scroll down.
Crazy, part 2 got more views than part 1.
Put Fruits of Self-Control IUIC Phoenix. And there's one more because it was. So this first one was about anger and words and stuff like that. Part 2 was watch your words, stick to a schedule, manage your money.
That was the first one. Okay, this is part 2.
So the first one is Fruits of Self-Control. That was right there. Scroll down.
Wow, that one had 20K over.
Yeah, it was good stuff. It was very good stuff. So it was all around. It was internal. It was physical.
Notice the least watched one was budgeting and good health. People are like, no, I want to be fat and broke. I want to be fat and broke.
Right.
Damn.
Snap.
So
ain't there a verse about they stop up the ears? Yeah, get that real quick. Get that real quick.
Go watch those classes. Those links are going to be put up. Fruits of Self-Control under IUIC Phoenix. Great classes. Matter of fact, I go from time to time and go back, and I need to do that after tonight, right, Deacon?
Yeah. Whatever.
Right.
Show me
by works.
Show me actions.
Yeah. Show me your faith by your works. Right.
Damn, that's crazy work. The budgeting and good health one got the least views. They were like, nope.
I want to be.
It hurts.
Fat and broke. Gonna be fat and broke.
And broke. Golly.
It hurts.
Terrible.
Crazy work.
2-time losers.
Damn it.
Damn.
Go ahead.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 7 and verse 11. But they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears.
Like, don't. I'm like,
Right.
I'm like this. Shia, I need you to do better. And he goes,
No, leave me alone.
He goes, leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Go ahead. And they pull away the shoulder and what?
And stopped their ears that they should not
And
hear.
there's that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Yeah. Right, exactly, like that. You know what? I don't know. Somebody was telling me, might have been my wife saying that I should run the parenting back.
That was a good
yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of sisters, especially sisters, got cut with that.
I don't know. Maybe that one's you could do a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not Back to the Future.
That's not Back to the Future.
That one's one that ever so often you need to revisit.
Well, and he adds something every time. Like even when you did it for the 300, you added a lot more.
Yeah.
It was a different approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's valuable. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to be very in the moment when I'm going through stuff. So, like, that's how the show kind of come out. I think it's developed that way. Like, there's a lot of times I'll come with like a whole thing of notes, and I almost barely get to them or something like that. So it depends. Read that verse again.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 7 and verse 11. But they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder.
That's the nature of our spirit. You read in Ezekiel, it talks about how we're stiff-necked and rebellious, right? That's why when we teach, it says we got to have our forehead strong against their forehead.
Adamant.
Because, like an adamant, stronger than flint, right? Meaning what? They're going to come with all their nonsense. They're going to come with all that stopping up their ears. And we need to be able, by sound doctrine, to exhort and convince the gainsayers, right? And the ones that are going to do something will. And the ones that won't, they won't. You're
going to die.
It is what it is. You're going to die. Exactly. Go ahead. Come on.
And pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears that they should not hear.
Right. Because really they don't want to hear. Hey, that's like when you read and it's in Isaiah 30 where they're like, keep the Holy One away from us.
Man.
The Holy One of Israel away from us. Prophesy smooth things.
Yes.
It's that same spirit that we have. You know what I'm saying? You rather hear a hack, a shortcut, than the reality of what it really takes to make consistent and lasting change in your lives. It's not easy. It is difficult.
It is.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Especially when you're set in your ways and things like that. It's hard. But I tell you, I have a natural aversion to certain types of tasks in my workload. And I laugh sometimes because sometimes it's important, but I'll reposition everything else I got to do around just making sure I don't do those particular things.
Right.
You know? Like a lot of minutia of data entry and stuff like that and setting stuff up like that, like I can't. Like I can't do it, man. It's rough for me. Like, and I notice naturally, it's not even like on purpose. That's the stuff that I forget or maybe don't write or carry over or whatever it is. Like I don't do it. And usually that's the type of stuff you gotta
double down on.
Double down on.
That's what David Goggins be saying. Just because his mind tells him don't do it, he's like, that. It makes me want to punish myself. He says more or double down on doing what my mind doesn't want to do.
Yeah. Oh, Princess Court. If I do one specifically for the sisters are going to not like it.
They're gonna unsubscribe from IUIC Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot to say about the way sisters be raising their kids.
Cloud hammers.
A lot. And I got a lot of Bible.
A lot
to back
of
it up.
Bible.
I got a lot of Bible to back it up. I got a lot of Bible to back it up. I don't know. Be careful what you wish for.
You can't handle the truth.
Sister's going to be hurt. Sister's going to be hurt. Right. Anyway, so did you want to show? Oh, you wanted to talk.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get these particulars out the way.
Let's get the particulars out the way before.
First of all, make sure that you like and subscribe to IUIC Phoenix. And make sure you sharing this this class tonight because it's about to go down. Now,
maybe I don't know. He got me so pissed off.
We got you. We got you, D.
Damn.
Now, the sin of the night. What you got?
Tobacco vanilla.
Okay. Tried and true.
It was almost oregano.
It really was.
Dang, you almost put the oregano on?
No, but I pulled it out and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I saw the little tincture you had. I was like, wait a minute, what's that?
Right.
Okay.
Damn.
What you got?
Orange cedar.
Orange cedar. Okay. What you got, Deke?
Classic barbershop.
Classic barbershop.
I figured I got the fresh cut today.
Okay.
I'll go with the barbershop.
Good,
right.
bro.
Fresh out the barbershop.
I was gonna trim and shape the beard. I didn't have time though. It's getting a little. It's like all over the place.
Right.
So I was trying to clean it up, but I didn't get to do it. But I'm rocking the classic barbershop.
Okay. Look, I ventured out. I'm trying the coconut tonight.
What? Oh, the coconut is good.
Yo, this
bro.
Coconut is fire.
Yes.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Especially during the summer.
It's
good stuff.
So during the summer, it's butter.
It is butter.
Okay, all right.
That was a funny one.
All right, hey, check this out. Go to getbeardgains.com right now to make sure you stocked up. See, every month I got to re-up. Right. Like I got a subscription every month. It's a beard wash, some oil for the nighttime, and then my butter for the daytime. That's my regimen. It's been like that now for over a year, and I've seen the improvement. My beard is a lot shinier, a lot more fuller.
Right. It's become more manageable. Even Tobias looked like he been growing in.
He been hitting
some games.
I know. You know what it is, man? People think it's like, whatever, you know? Hey, and even if you got a good beard, it's going to make it better.
Right.
It's going to make it better. I think a lot of people think it's just to grow your beard. Like, I don't need that.
Nah.
See, even Officer Issachar use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the main going.
Yes, I will expand the beard wash flavors at some point soon. Yes.
All praises. But check this out. We got some up and coming things happening for y'all right now.
You revealing?
Yeah, we go get y'all a little reveal.
You revealing?
We go give them a little reveal
on the Power Hour.
I got my photography late, so it's not ready.
Right,
but you're gonna tease them anyway.
I'm gonna give them a little teaser. Go ahead and
you revealing live on the Power Hour.
Live on the Power Hour Plus
for the 273 watchers that we have on right now.
Yeah, and counting. Let's go ahead.
And if you're watching right now and you're getting the new reveal, you should be liking.
That part.
Now a lot of people they like the drama on Biblical Smoke. They
right,
on
that's
Biblical
what it is.
Smoke right now.
Hey, check this out.
Man.
So coming very, very soon, you can get your own Power Hour Plus hoodie.
Let's go.
Unisex hoodies for the brothers and the sisters. So guess what? When you tuned into the Power Hour, you can rock your hoodie. And don't forget your Power Hour tumbler right? Where you can put your hot drinks, your cold drinks, any kind of drinks up in there, sipping it while you entertained with the show.
And now you only showing the sister. You had the brother.
Yeah,
rocking it.
they
It looked
didn't
pretty
they didn't get it ready
good.
yet.
Oh, okay, all right. The men think that they're not gonna be able to. Rock
Yeah,
the
that's why I
hoodie.
said it was unisex.
I know, but they don't understand.
Claude have mercy.
That light blue though.
Claude have
That
mercy.
is fire.
It is.
I saw it on the Sabbath. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Right.
it's doing it.
Bruh,
It's
light
doing
blue,
it.
baby blue.
And what else we got going on? Let's see. So watch this. We got your favorite shows, tumblers, getting ready to drop soon, right? Not only do we have Escaping the Plantation 2.0, Precept Upon Precept, IUIC TV, we also got The Book of Our Fathers,
Yes.
and
PSR.
PSR, Patient Saints Radio.
We're gonna let you rep your radio shows and all of that. We
That's
getting
right.
It ready. We getting it ready. It's
That's
coming,
right.
it's coming.
So you can't say he wasn't ready because you heard it here first.
Right. Right. So, Sister Thalia said there was something about watching the show with her cup.
Right.
You know, just
Right.
had her. Yeah, I was talking. I see Zara every morning because
Right,
our kids
right.
go to the same school. And he was like, yeah, she was real happy. Like, it was genuine. Like, she was real happy with her cup watching the show. Like, she was like, just sitting there like,
That's right.
All
now you get to
praise.
have your hoodie on, too. What's happening?
What they do, man?
Right. Yeah, all
All
praises,
right.
all praises.
Oh, and let us know where you tuning in from in the comments.
That's right. Let us know. Let us know.
Let us know.
Right. Yeah, I think somebody did. They started doing that a little bit, but
Yeah.
you could do it again if you want. All right. All right. Where did I say we would start? I said put it up in order.
It's about to go down.
I did say start here, and I would let you know. Yeah. Okay, have it ready. So. Yeah, Fix Your Face is coming. FNR.
Friday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna get the Friday Night Raw too. Yep. Yeah, you know what it is that somebody the Friday Night Raw has a logo?
No, not an official logo.
We gotta make an official logo for Friday Night Raw. We gotta make an official logo. Fix Your Face one's a little hard.
Yeah.
The complexities to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like printing
making
it,
it-
like
yeah,
getting it
printing.
printed so it's not cheesy and cheap.
Right.
Because when you got all this different shading and stuff like that, like not everything prints well. There's like a limit to colors and stuff sometimes, but we're gonna get it. You know what? That's the hardest one. The writing on the wall, because their logo includes pictures of them.
Right.
So I just need their lettering. I did ask for all the radio show stuff. Some brothers submitted it, some didn't. Yeah, because I'm trying to do some T-shirts for y'all. You know, so you can rep your shows and represent. You know, sometimes we have our gatherings together. You want to show out your show swag and all of that. You know, so
Be in solidarity.
Yeah, we trying to get it for everybody. So unless you've been under a rock,
Right.
your president, President Trump,
Been going in.
he been going in.
He ain't even been in the office a week.
President, put up that thumbnail real quick. You got the thumbnail? Show the audience the thumbnail. Show the audience the thumbnail.
Maybe you can use this.
That's the one I need to use. Yep, I need that. But I need like a high res version of that. And then we could get some stuff going up for y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do hoodies for every show, some T-shirts, and the cups.
It's on the way.
So you can have your show swag. You know
All
what I'm saying?
praises.
Put up that thumbnail so that they can see it. All right? Put up that thumbnail. Your president, President Trump. He been hard body. I mean, on everything, not just the immigrant. He been on everything.
Right.
And some things.
Yo, this man is
Some things I'm loving. Actually, I'm loving all of it.
Right. You can't do nothing
Stir it
against
up.
the
Hey,
truth.
stir
Give me
it
that
up.
one in
Just go
Daniel
ahead
about the
and-
basis of men
Yes, sir.
as rulers, right?
The decree of the watchers. The book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers.
By the decree of the watchers. Come on.
And the demand by the word of the Holy One.
Right. You know what it says? It says by the demand of the word of the Holy One. By the demand.
The demand.
Right? By the demand. The decree of the watchers, meaning you got all the hosts of heaven that's always communing. You read that, is it in Samuel? Second Kings, right? And it talks about how they have when things is going on in the earth, they have a council.
Right.
Straight up.
Of how they gonna harden, soften, implant things in dreams
Right.
for all the men in the earth,
Mm-hmm.
right? How he gonna make them move and do different things like that, right? That's like the chess pieces being moved on the board, right? Go ahead.
To the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of heaven,
Right.
of men.
So letting you know that God rules in the kingdom of men. You know that this reminds me of that scene that I've often spoke about in different contexts.
Right.
Of Clash of the Titans.
The gods.
Right. We've never found the actual one that I think I want.
Yes, we did, but
did we?
it's kind of a long video. We
And
gotta
there's a
shorten it
scene
up.
in that because as a kid, that claymation was like crazy to me,
Right.
so I loved it. Right. And it shows the Greek gods, and they had all these little like effigies
Right.
of whatever people's lives they were in, right? Like little statues, right?
What is it called?
So like an effigy is like it's whatever you make, even if it doesn't look exactly like them, it's supposed to represent them,
Right.
right? So
Right.
like, you know, like a voodoo doll's an effigy, right?
Yep.
And it might not have the facial features and stuff like that, but it's you know, relatively supposed to be that. But anyway, and they would be in the lives of men. They would position these things and say, I'm going to make this happen to Perseus. I'm going to make this happen to this one. I'm going to make this happen to that one. They get that from the Bible, right? And they
Right.
put that in their Greek pantheon, right? So that's what we're reading here. Read it from the top again.
This matter is by decree of the watchers, and by the demand by the word of the Holy One, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men.
Right. The Most High rules in the kingdom of men. So you see these things happen, and the ones who lack sound faith, whose faith is weak or who are faithless,
Right.
will say, where's God in these situations? But what we just read showed us, I see God in all the things that happen in the earth, good and bad, because the scripture teaches us that he kills and he makes alive. Get that one after this so they understand, right? But go ahead, keep reading.
And giveth it to whomsoever he will.
Oh, he gives the world to whomever he will. So every empire that's ever come up in authority or power, God has condoned it. Yes, even your friendly neighborhood white man who's afflicted us the way he has. He's used them as his ministers and instruments against those who are not keeping his laws. Right? Go ahead, come on.
And setteth up over it the basis of men.
He'll set the basis of men. And you wonder, like, how these people are.
Ain't no way, boy.
Right, boy, ain't no way, boy. Right? Listen, he wants this place to be that way. Because this is not our rest. He wants us to see the pollutions of this place.
Hosea 5:15.
So we need to see that this is what's going on, and that's how it goes down, right? So that's why I say you'll have the faithless, the weak in faith, right? Or the ones who don't believe in God at all, right? And they'll say, see, how can you say that there's a God? I remember one sister said, you know, I can't believe in a God that allows babies to die.
Right. I remember that.
He's the one that kills and makes alive. Let's get that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 39.
Start there real quick. Sorry.
See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive.
Right, because in order to have that power, notice he said, there's no God with me. There's no, so people have Satan as this opposition to God.
Like he
and
on the
they
same
say
level.
that's the devil that caused that baby to die. That's the devil that made your child be born with an incurable disease or develop this or this that happened or
without
whatever it might
arms.
be, right? Not realizing that actually weakens the example of an almighty
Omnipotent,
God,
right.
Because to be omnipotent means that he's in control of all of it. So what you really do when you create this adversary that you think is not under his authority,
You're giving him too much.
that's why I say the weak in faith. Your faith is not sound. It's not based on the Bible then. It's based on doctrines of men, and you think about that. So go ahead, read it from the top again.
See now that I, even I, am he. and there is no God with me.
Right, there's no God with him. Because in order to be able to do the things that he does, he has to be. There was I saw it when I used to have my commercial cleaning business. I had seen it in a little thing. There was a bank I used to clean. It's a little small bank. And it had it there, and it says something like, if your God is
You took a picture of
omnipresent,
it. It was in the chat.
man, it's so good. And it says like, and if he does allow evil,
Right.
then he's malicious.
Yep.
And I was like, damn. I think when I went over to our great and terrible God.
Yeah, that was it.
I use that picture.
Yes.
I
Yep.
use that picture too. It's real good. If y'all could scribble it and see if AI finds it, that would be good. But he says he kills and he makes alive. Go ahead, come on.
I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal.
Right. So the sickness, right, and healing comes from him. So yes, he might do it through the means of a doctor or a medicine, but he's in charge of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'll take a medicine, won't do a damn thing.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If he wants something to happen, there ain't nothing that man does that can prevent that.
Right.
D, can I back you up real quick?
Uh-huh.
Let me get Proverbs 21:1.
I was right with you.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 1.
Come on.
The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
That's every ruler, every president, every czar, whoever it is across the face of the earth. That's every policeman. That's every judge. That's every doctor. Come on.
As the rivers of water.
Mhm.
He turneth it whithersoever he will.
So watch this. Just like if the wind blows the water to the east or it blows it to the west, that's just the same way that the Most High controls everything around you. So everything and everyone in this earth is here to try you, to make you ready for the kingdom of heaven.
Preparation.
Can I give an example of what you said?
Sure.
Okay. 2 Samuel 24 and verse 1. And then someone else get me 1 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse, give me 1 second. We were going over this this past Sabbath, Officer Nehemiah. We were looking for that Psalms 38. And I was thinking this was the answer for that Psalms 38. But watch this. 2 Samuel 24 verse 1.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 24 and verse 1. And again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
Whose anger?
That's it. It's Epicurious. Yep. That's what we're gonna talk about. But let irresponsible procrastinator here. He good for this stuff. Let me
real quick.
Let me get it real quick.
But let me not quench your spirit. Go ahead, guy.
Read that again.
And again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
Whose anger?
The anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
Anger of the Lord against Israel. Go ahead.
And he moved David against them to say.
He moved. Who's the he? There's a little letter next to the he. What does it say?
Satan.
Satan. Now, 1 Chronicles chapter 21, verse 1.
The book of 1 Chronicles chapter 21, verse 1.
We're reading the same thing, just in the book of Chronicles.
And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel.
See, if your pastor don't read the Bible, he's not going to teach you that the Lord sent Satan to make David number the army. And that's when David sinned. But it was the anger of the Lord that provoked David to number Israel and use Satan.
Right. Get me this in Romans 9, and this will explain a little more. And then we're going to show this, the video, and then we're going to get into the news articles.
Romans 9 and...
Start at 15.
The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 15.
Actually, start at 14.
Verse 14.
Start at 13.
Verse
Might as
13.
well.
13. Let's get it.
For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die.
9:13.
Oh, 8.
Come
The book of
on,
Romans,
man.
chapter 9 and verse 13. My bad.
As it is written.
Thank you.
Jacob have I loved.
Let's go.
But Esau have I hated.
Man, and let me tell you, Christians trying to come up with all types of hoops to jump
Right,
through to
right.
like invalidate these type
Right.
of verses. It don't really mean hate. There was one that came up, and I
don't
think
mean
it's and it's Amalek. It's it was like a commercial they're doing, and they're trying to say that in the Hebrew, the hate didn't mean this. It means something else because they're running scared that the scriptures are really revealing them as Amalek and Esau.
Because we're reading now.
Right, because we're reading now, and the prophets are in the earth that are
Right.
able to break that down and see that. And so now they're trying to... People, you never seen stuff like that. Nobody ever spoke about Esau like that.
Right.
They got a whole app, which means they pay for it to try to explain away this verse.
But
That
they
it
also
don't,
know
that it don't mean hate.
But they also let you know that they know that they're Esau.
Yeah, they basically try to say it means he loved them less.
Wow.
Crazy word.
But it was wild.
Like,
But it's still them.
Stop.
It was wild. It was something crazy. I wish it was too many months ago, so I'm not gonna be able to find it in my feed. But anyway, so yes, the Lord says he loves and he hates. Go ahead, come on.
What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid.
Why would it have to say that? because he knew that there were people that were going to be like, well, damn.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
Right.
That's not right.
Right.
Right, because they try to frame God, and when we get to the Epicurus thing, you're going to see it's all going to come together. They try to frame God, and Christianity does, right? I know Biblical Smoke the past couple days, you got some former coon that used to be with us, and mind you, he was abusive nigga. He was an abusive nigga. I'm going to say what it was, because he was being a nigga. He was abusive over the congregation that he was. And when we pressed him and found out and made him accountable for it, he left and then decided to talk crap about us. Now he on there talking about Matthew 5:17-18 don't mean what it say.
Crazy.
Claude, have mercy.
That we lie about it.
Okay.
All right.
This was the same Negro that tried to use the scriptures to rule over people. And now he over here trying to talk about this, that, and the other. I tell you, boy, when the Lord give you to that reprobate mind, he give you to that reprobate mind.
Golly.
That's of the Lord too, right? We're going to read that. Go ahead, come on.
For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy.
Right. So he says, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. Letting you know there's no unrighteousness with God. This goes back to what we read about that by the decree of the watchers and the Holy One, right?
I kill and I make alive.
That he rules in the earth, that there's no God with him, right? It's like the version of God you have in your head forbids you to see things clearly in the scriptures.
Right, white Jesus.
Well, he does.
It's our great and terrible God.
Right.
And he's this is the God that devised all that evil that happened in Egypt.
Yes. Boils and all kind of
Intentionally,
flies.
right? He said, I'm
Right.
gonna harden.
Hey, that's like that Wu-Tang. That's like that Wu-Tang song where he like, I'm a slit your kneecaps and make you lean in the stairwell of piss, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like these torturous ways of doing stuff. Right?
He sent bears and lions to rip children alive.
Yes. That's the God of the Bible. I don't know where this thing comes from. I do know where it comes from, but. Like, if you have a foundation in the scriptures, where does this come from that all this stuff is somehow... Nobody wants to talk about that. They like to say that we don't profess Christ. They mean we don't profess their version of Christ. Right?
Why
Christ
Jesus?
is professed anytime you read any verse.
Right.
Because he's in the volume of the book, dummies. Right? That we don't profess Christ, but then they want to profess a God that's not from the Bible.
Right.
They want to
Another
talk about
Jesus.
something else. Another Jesus, another doctrine, right? Go ahead, come on.
For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
Read.
So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth.
It don't matter what you think, what you feel, what you might want to do, what you might want the outcome to be. Go ahead, come on.
But of God that showeth mercy.
Life or death. Go ahead, read.
For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose I have raised thee up.
I've raised you up only so that I can show my power in thee. And that's what you're seeing in these last days with America, with the United States, right?
Right.
Go ahead, come on.
That I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Right, because now, through the things that are being prophetically fulfilled by the base men that he's put up to lead. And let me tell you, Biden was a base guy too. Don't just think I'm saying Trump is base, right?
Straight up.
Kamala, if he wanted her to win, she's base too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obama was base too.
Right.
When we start reading some of these articles and stuff, they don't talk about, everybody's outraged about what Trump is doing.
Yep.
But Obama to date has deported more people than any other president.
That's right.
Right? And he's done similar things to what Trump is doing, and so did Biden.
Sure did.
So when I go into what's happening with the border crisis, what you need, and I'm gonna show you why I'm calling it the crisis. But when it's not the fact that they're doing it, because any reasonable country would not want the strain on their government.
Right.
Would you want just anybody coming into your house?
Right.
Right. Let's say you had that altruistic spirit, right? And you're like, oh, you know what? Come in off the street. You can have of my food. You can sleep in my house and do these things. There's a limit to that, no?
Right.
Would you you want to leave from work and you come back and there's 10 more in your house?
Just leave the door open.
And you committed to one?
Crazy work.
Right?
No, that's
Put it in
crazy
that
work.
perspective, you're not going to be feeling any type of way about them deporting people that are here illegally, right?
Right.
The irony is this base man is deporting people from a place that was never his to begin
Never
with.
his. Right.
In his deportations, he's doing the same thing he did when he got here.
Right.
Yes.
Kicking us out, shipping us off, and in some cases murdering us. They're not able to do it that way. And I'll tell you, if they could and not have this element of global backlash.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
You got to understand, we're living under a graceful time under the Lord right now.
Right.
Because the time will come where they'll kill us for this walk.
Right. That's facts.
And everybody will be on board cheering it on.
Right.
Don't forget, it was so-called Christians that cheered lynchings.
Right.
It was so-called Christians that cheered the gasoline fires of Mexicans at the border towns.
Yep.
You don't
find that suspicious.
And the lynchings, right? In the name of God. It was so-called Christians that did that stuff, okay? But go ahead, read 17 one more time.
Verse 17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose I have raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee.
Why? Because he's going to show how he can take down someone and something that seemed insurmountable, unconquerable, right? Go ahead, come on.
And that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
And that's what happened during that time, right? But even then, man, like our people right away went off to something else. We saw all those miracles. The world heard of them. And even over time, they laughed and scoffed in the face of those things. Go ahead, come on.
Therefore, hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will have, in whom he hardeneth.
And whom he will he hardeneth, right?
Yes.
So you have to understand, just like we showed the example that it was in David's heart to do something, all throughout the scriptures, look, he put it in the king of Persia's heart to give us liberty and give him praise, just like he put it in the Assyrians' heart to punish us and inflict all the things that they did of us, right? Just like he put it in Spain and Columbus, and now he's doing what he's doing with Trump, right? Go ahead, come on.
Verse 19, thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against God?
Who are you that you reply against God? He said, you still going to try to find fault in the Lord? Who are you that finds fault against God? Come on.
Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus?
You don't question that. Why did you make me this way? Right? Go ahead, come on.
Hath not the potter power over the clay?
If he's the creator and you believe that, then he gets to do it the way he wants to.
Right.
You weren't even created yet for you to give feedback.
Right.
And say, this is the way I want you to make me and do this, that, and the other. Go ahead, come on.
Lord.
Of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
Right. Why? Because he'll make one that's for wine and berries, and he going to make another vessel that's to take a crap. Or to be a wash pot. Right?
Right.
Just like he'll make one person for honor and one to dishonor, right? Just like he has one chosen race and one not. Remember, the context here that he's really talking about is the difference between Jacob and Esau.
Right.
And to not feel offended by that, right? Go ahead, come on.
What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long-suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction?
Right, and this is something that we always have to remember. The vessels of wrath that are fitted to destruction. What's been prophesied about them in the book of Obadiah, the best that they can do is say that happened already and they don't exist anymore.
Right.
But the Bible continues to prophesy about them through Christ's times and in prophecy after Christ's times. You read in Revelation that it talks about that great red dragon, all right? And yes, historically, quite literally, that goes into Herod and Rome. But it talks about things that were yet to pass at that moment. And that are for another date and another time for these things to happen.
Which
and
is
you
now.
see that, right, which is now, which you see developing now. And you see those type of things happening now. So he has one for honor and one that's a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction. The thing is, in our simplicity, we think the wrath is upon us. But that is really just for us in our affliction to seek him.
To seek him early, right.
And he's multifactorial when he does these things. In putting up a base man and base leaders to enact these things, not only is he progressing his timeline of prophetic events to happen and instigating events in the earth, he's also at the same time, by that same provocation, putting a spirit in people to repent, to wake up, to receive this.
That's right.
If you send preachers, like you read in Romans 10 and 15, right? How beautiful are the feet of them. How can they hear? How will they know of this Christ, of the Christ and the God that's like this, what we read in the Bible,
Right.
if somebody's not sent to show it to him. And that's why you got to look at all these type of things that are going on now, right? That's all I wanted. Well, read 23. Finish 23.
Verse 23. And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory.
Right, predestined. Before I formed you, before I knew you in the womb, we've been predestinated. You hear that also when you read in the letters in the New Testament about a predestination. It says, "From he had before prepared unto glory." Right. That's 2 Ezra 6:55. I made the worlds for your sake.
That's
right?
it.
Right.
That's it.
And I said these other nations are nothing.
They like spittle.
They're right. They have nothing to do with me. They're here for a purpose, and that's it.
Right.
And there's one to honor and there's one to dishonor. And if you got a problem with that, then you don't believe in the God of the Bible. You can keep believing the made-up God.
Yeah.
That Catholicism and by extension what we call Christianity today.
Pray, white
'cause
Jesus.
Catholicism gave birth to Christianity, right? Is this. Now give me this Epicurious thing, because this is really the reflection that you have to have. And based on just some of the scriptures that we just read, you're gonna see what the God that we serve. Go ahead, come on.
Is God willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he is not omnipotent.
Think about that for a second. Is he willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he's not omnipotent. That goes back to what he's saying. He said, there's no other God with me. I kill and I make alive.
Right.
I'm the one that puts things in people's hearts to move them to do something. I give the earth to the basis of men if I so please. Because when you go ahead and you spin that narrative that there's a Satan, and there is a Satan, but that the Satan is on the same level of God,
Right.
and that is in opposition,
Right.
Crazy work.
then you're saying he's not omnipotent. Go ahead, come on.
Is he able but not willing? Then he is malevolent.
He is malevolent.
He is.
Because in certain circumstances,
Negroes gotta die.
Negroes gotta die. Even the little baby that he heals and he makes sick.
He murdered whole cities because they was in there being fanny packs.
Yes.
Christ died a brutal death and did no sin.
Right.
He was able to deliver him.
And he was the most loved creature.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Then he is malevolent.
Right.
Go ahead, come on.
Is he both able and willing? Then whence cometh evil?
But man, listen. This is them same groups, them superstitious groups.
Right.
In Athens, that they like to muse on anything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Epicurious. Go ahead, come on.
Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God?
Right. What's the meaning of this?
If he's not able or he's not willing, then why would you call that a God? That's why he says there's no other God with me.
Right.
And then he goes on and says, I kill and I make alive.
He let you know what
because you
business
got to
is.
be a God to be able to have that much control.
Right.
So what he's letting you know, because God means power.
Right.
He's saying there's no other power that can do what I do. So you can't offload it to something else. That's the God we serve. Because if not, then where is the fear of a God like that?
Right.
In the absence of that, then what is there to fear? And he requires fear.
Yeah.
With the love, he requires fear. And what he wants more is the fear.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Because he knows that that's the thing that moves. That's what shakes people to change.
Right.
Because then
Mufasa.
you will obey.
How many times have brothers almost lost their life, gone to a car accident, then they confess their sin?
All the time.
All the
All
time.
the time.
Because why? They were fearful in that moment.
Right.
But if you go on with nothing happening, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to be repentant of. Keep that in the pipe, because that's always good to go back to. I might use that as something else. That thing is crazy work right there, bro.
Yeah,
that thing is crazy work right there. And now show me the video of yes, this is Calabos
1981.
transformation, right? Those are the effigies. And what I mean is that it doesn't show the details. Like if Tobias was one of those,
Right.
it don't look like Tobias, but it represents Tobias.
Right.
Go ahead.
You good over there? Trump.
That do look like Tobias a little bit.
Bruh.
Perseus,
Trump.
grown to a young man.
Oh,
He's had a happy childhood. It's the advantage of a strong body and a handsome face. What more could any mortal desire or deserve?
Trump.
And
He's
what
going to
of
be a
my
good
son?
president. You will put him in
Calabos.
office,
His
shake
crimes
things
are
up.
unforgivable.
Be merciful to him. Show pity.
Impossible.
See, it's like a council. There's a
Calibos
council going on.
had every advantage. You, as patron goddess of the rich city of Joppa, have spoiled and indulged him since birth. You gave him the wells of the moon to rule, and what has he done? Hunted and destroyed every living creature. He's trapped and killed my sacred herd of flying horses, and now only the stallion Pegasus remains. Your son must therefore be punished.
No, I beg you, be merciful.
He will become abhorrent to human sight. He'll be shunned and forced to live as an outcast in the swamps and marshes. He'll be transformed to a mortal mockery, a shameful mark.
Oh look,
of
Esau.
vile cruelty.
Some to honor and some to dishonor.
And if you see the movie, you can stop. That's what he winds up turning into.
Right.
And he looks like that. I'm not talking about the remake. It was nice to see modern special effects, but that movie was trash compared to the original.
Facts.
And that's basically what happens. And he says this and that, and we're gonna handle this, right? And there's a council, and they go through these discussions, and and then God gives the verdict at the end of the day. This is what I want to do. This is what I want accomplished. How are y'all gonna help me accomplish this?
I'll be a lying spirit.
Right. That's it. I'll be a lying spirit. I'll do this. I'll do that. That's how it moves. That's how it moves. You wanted to say something else real quick?
Yeah, real quick.
No. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Let's start with the Chicago mayor holding it down. Come
Stand
on.
on business.
Now, what I do find interesting is that when 30,000 Ukrainians sought asylum here in the city of Chicago, nobody said a mumbling word. But all of a sudden,
Stop. Let me say something.
Yo, I thought he was gonna say something else.
Did you even know that wasn't even a big thing in the news?
I didn't even hear about it.
Because there's no bowels of compassion for asylum seekers. Meaning their countries are so devastated that they're asking for mercy and for them to be repatriated to here. Right? Like take me here, let me go through the process, be a resident alien or a citizen or whatever it is, right? I'm coming to you for help. You're America, this is the democracy. When 30,000 Ukrainians came, they didn't even report it.
No.
Right.
These were people that are here living undocumented, and the government is helping them to get themselves established here. Just like they did when the Irish came over. Just like they did, because remember, they had all this land, but not enough people here. People forget that with the land grab.
Right.
So they offered it for free to anybody who would just get their equipment and claim it.
And it wasn't even theirs.
Right? Is that movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. I forgot what
Eyes
it's called.
Wide Shut?
No, that freak.
Are you serious
It's
right
a
now?
weird movie, bro.
What?
He still be doing stuff like that. See, he got excited with that.
Oh,
He said,
I thought
eyes
that
wide
was it.
shut.
I heard the names. I thought
Do the sound effect again. Yeah, thank you.
They were Irish, and they came. The point was, it's like a love story, but it's during the time of the land grab.
Right.
And it shows how they would do these things where all you had to do was go and claim this land, because Gad kept fighting them back, and other countries were coming in trying to take all this land. They couldn't control it all. They didn't have enough people, so they incentivized immigrants to come
And hold it down.
and take the land.
Right.
All you had to do was claim it. You didn't have to be a citizen here or anything.
Dang.
Claim something that wasn't yours. And there's a scene in that movie, I can't remember the name of the movie right now, and towards the end, where it shows you the race that they did to grab land. And if you staked your claim, you put your flag in the ground, that was yours. And that was it. And nobody could say anything. You got
The
the deed
Flower
to that
Moon?
land. No, it wasn't the Flower
It
Moon.
wasn't that one. It was an older movie.
I can't remember what it's called right now. But so they gave land. So they incentivized them. It's not the same like when they talk about how because they try to say that the Irish had it rough and stuff like that. And yeah, Esau even amongst themselves have their own little racial divides and stuff like that, right? You see that in gangs in New York, right? The ones that were here as Protestants originally, they felt like they were natives, right? Remember that gang was called the Natives. And then they didn't like the Irish that were coming. But the Irish were coming because they were being invited to either be conscripted into the army or to take over the land as they delved further into the west. Far and away, that's the name of it, Far and Away, right? So before the truth, I didn't look at it anyway. I was all like, oh, look at the love story. This love, this and that. That was the Notebook. Oh my gosh! But that scene towards the end in that movie shows like how they did the land grab there. So notice how he said 30,000 Ukrainians. Nobody's, because here's the thing. What I'm trying to show you is the hypocrisy in what they're doing, right? And the Lord's doing it for a purpose. We established that with the scriptures that we brought out in the beginning for us to understand that, right? But he's setting it off as this is happening, and he's putting you on game because he's like, look, I'm the mayor of this city, basically.
Right.
They told me accept 30,000 Ukrainians. And think about, why would they send them to Chicago?
Because it's the hood. Because of the violence. Because of the...
They figured they could whiten the city by sending 30,000 white boys to Chicago, because Chicago, with gang violence.
Right.
They said, let's send... They said, and they got heavy Ephraim in Chicago, Judah obviously there, and they said, let's send 30,000 white, an influx of 30,000 white people that has a lot of effect in the neighborhood. Hey, and don't get it twisted. Don't think because they white boys that they soft.
Oh no, a lot of them probably
them Ukrainians and them Russians.
Yeah, straight up.
Bro, they more vile than you could ever. You think you gang banging out there, cold blooded, just showing hatred to your brother, popping them off. They'll like torture you first.
Oh yeah,
they might even put you, man or woman. They might even put you into like sex trafficking and then kill you.
Yeah. That part, straight up.
Go ahead, play from the beginning.
Now, what I do find interesting is that when 30,000 Ukrainians sought asylum here in the city of Chicago, nobody said a mumbling word. But all of a sudden, indigenous people who are trying to get to a land that was robbed from them through colonization, they want me as a black man to be mad at them? You gotta be out of your freaking mind.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
He said hell to the no.
Hey, he's seen something that we put out. There ain't no way. He sees something that we put out. Hey, you got these knuckleheads on here. He's a non-repenting that we know of. Right. And he can see that we the same people, basically.
Yes.
Because that's what he's really saying. He said, and me as a black man am supposed to
be like, okay with this?
Okay with this?
Right.
When they rob the land from people that he understands that we suffer the same afflictions and that we the same people. But you got these knuckleheads that come on here talking about we the light skins, this, that, and the other. First of all, I'm swarthy.
Right.
Damn, I don't know if I have the. We're not gonna show it today, but there's a scale of swarthiness. I don't think you make it. You like right on the outside. But
okay, I'll take it. Put me where you put me. I'll take it. Come on.
But it's all right. You walking the walk.
That's
so.
it. Come on. Sit with it.
There's a sister that says I live near a Ukrainian village in Chicago. They're a big mob.
Yeah. I know it. Man. Thanks for your testimony. I know it.
That's crazy, bro.
I know it.
Straight up.
Because and the hypocrisy in that is that he's saying
crazy.
That he's basically implying that all immigrants that are coming from south of the border are criminals. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some criminals.
Yeah.
There are some gangs. They're coming here and they're trying to form gangs and do this. There is a portion of that that is happening. But it's not that they making it seem like they coming here. Come on, man. They got nuclear bombs. I live near an air base. They got freaking jets flying over my neighborhood all the time. And you really think a Venezuelan gang is coming here and taking over stuff that they don't allow for those things to happen? Because they're like, those are the neighborhoods that we don't give a crap about anyway. It only becomes a problem when they encroach onto places where they don't want you to touch.
Yes.
They don't care. And they never cared. And they're trying to act like it's for the sanctity of the country.
Just like they didn't care in Colorado. Sorry, Benson. They didn't care in Colorado. So did you see what happened in Colorado?
Yes.
Okay. It took them a long time to respond. it took them like a week or two to respond. But if it was a neighborhood where it's predominantly white people, they'd have been like, "Yo, let's go quick, let's go."
Yep. Go ahead, Benson.
Are we live, Benson?
No, you good. I fixed it. I was trying to let y'all know that the camera had froze.
I got
but
you.
Oh,
I see it.
okay.
It's
Damn.
good.
Hey, Dick, and don't forget that in 2021, Airbnb pledged to provide free temporary housing for 20,000 Afghan refugees.
I tell you,
Oh,
as long as you ain't from Latin America, if you ain't Jake, they're gonna open up all types of doorways for you.
Can I get some real quick?
Yeah.
Get Maccabees. First Maccabees 8-1. Just two things, because like you said, as long as you're not Jake, you don't come from the tribes of Israel, the doors are
Right.
wide open, right? So this
Hey,
is
Trump
not
said that in his last term, where he said, why do we get shit people to come here? He says, why don't we get good people like from Sweden and Norway to come over here?
Yeah.
Crazy word.
From Ireland or something. Why don't we get the Puerto Ricans? Why don't we get the Irelands or something like that?
Oh, we gonna talk about that.
Remember he said
he shit on Puerto Rico, but ICE is in Puerto Rico kicking out the Dominicans.
Right.
We're gonna show that in a minute.
Man,
We're gonna show that. Go ahead, bring out what you want to bring out.
This ain't the first time they done did it. They got Esau got a history. They do the same thing in every captivity.
Hey, no, they not all. The ones that they trying
Exactly.
to ship over are not all illegal criminals.
Right.
I'm gonna show you a video. You tell me if the people that are talking in that video are criminals or not.
Right.
You see a mother with her baby, and you see a guy that looked like he was just trying to get somewhere on the dream of, that America was gonna be better for him.
Right.
And real
Yes.
quick, don't
They-
forget.
Listen, I'll say it again. There are some, just like there's criminals. They act like white people. Oh my God, see, now I'm getting. Let me
Let's
control
go.
my thoughts.
Oh my God.
There was a stabbing in my neighborhood, right? Not Levine.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
But it was Levine-esque.
Okay.
Where I live.
Mm-hmm.
In Levine or in the...
No. Don't name my city.
Gosh.
My bad.
Freaking
Talking about in the green area. You remember when we saw the map and it was like all red? He's in like the.
I was
Yeah,
like...
he in the amber. He in the amber.
Yes, I live in a nice neighborhood
Yeah.
because I wasn't gonna buy a house in a bad
Right.
neighborhood.
Right.
Right. Jeez.
So there was a stabbing, right, at a bowling alley.
Right.
And what wound up happening was the cops was like in our neighborhood thick. There was a chopper over for hours. They had cop cars like in every block,
Right.
Because supposedly it ran into the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
The assailant. I'm waiting for them to see who it was. And all the white people in the community chats, because I'm on the community chats on social. Because let me tell you, they better than any news people with the way they,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? They
Quick with it.
man, they nosy, they and everything. So they quick with it. So I'm there with my popcorn reading the comments.
The grapevine.
Bro, and they started talking about the illegal. Let me tell you, I get happy when I see another Jake in my neighborhood. Right? I'm not saying. I mean, it's pretty diverse, but it's more.
Right.
It's a lot more other nations where I'm at.
Right.
I get happy when I see they trying to make it sound like it's illegals that came from the south of the border that they in my city in Arizona, and and it's real. It's their little ass obnoxious Caucasian kids that think they tough guys that's doing these things.
Right.
And they trying to act like it's some illegal alien that came all the way from freaking Honduras to come up here and stab somebody in the neighborhood.
Just to do that.
So they had a digital lynch mob.
And they're like, oh, the neighborhood's going. And I'm like, oh, please stop it.
Right.
It's not. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's probably some beef between two white boys.
Right.
And one of them thought he was thugged out.
Listen
and
to
the
drill
got
music.
escalated.
Yes.
Yeah, listen to drill music.
Right.
Wow.
Get out of here with that BS. Right. They're not all criminals. Venezuela and Colombian are highly educated. I think I did a show years back where I saw how there's people who are educated as doctors and teachers, and because the economy's so distressed in Venezuela, they come across the border to do other types of jobs. Some women have turned to prostitution just to make ends meet, or they'll cross the border in Colombia to work and then cross back in Venezuela and take care of it. I did this some years back.
It was Cuba.
And no, well, Cuba was part, but it was Venezuela. It was Venezuela I was talking about.
Okay.
You're thinking of a different. This predates you being involved in the loop. When I did that topic.
Damn.
Just eat it.
Oh,
Just
this
eat
was
it. Let's
the
move on.
19th?
Yes, this was at 19th, and I spoke about it then, and so yes, the point is they're trying to make it seem like it's just gangs that are coming over, right, and it's not, but when it's Afghans, when it's Ukrainians, it's asylum seekers, it's refugees.
Right.
Yes.
When it's us, it's criminals, right? It's
Illegal
ridiculous.
aliens, yeah.
You were gonna say something again, or was the camera frozen?
No, I was just gonna make mention. You said it predated. I was thinking about the show where we were covering that series, and it talked about Venezuela having some of the best doctors in the world.
No, that wasn't it. That's why he was thinking it, because we spoke about that too.
There's that documentary. What was it called? The documentary, and went over different Guatemala, Cuba.
Harvest of Empire.
That one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that today too, but I don't know. We'll see how the flow goes.
We met Venezuelans at the border. We went and did a border mission like last year or so, and I spoke to some of them, and they said, "Yeah, I'm a doctor. I'm a nurse out there, but I don't make no money, and I'm trying to do that over here.
It's crazy work.
Yep.
No, and they won't let him over here. Did you finish your thing?
No.
Go ahead.
Read that real quick.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 1.
Right, because this is the first time they done did this. The Esau is the same thing every captivity. Read that.
Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans,
right,
that they were mighty and valiant men,
right,
and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them.
So the Romans would willingly accept all that joined themselves unto them. It's the same thing, like you said, with the Afghans, the same thing with the Ukrainians.
Yep.
If they're coming over here, they're saying that they're asylum seekers. It's because they've been doing that since the time of Rome, Greece. This is their MO.
Yep, absolutely.
And these are also the nations in Psalms 83.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, of course, they're going to allow them to do that. That's a good point. There's the nations that are confederate with them.
Right.
So, what else is after that? Was this the article after that? Oh, you're showing the thing. That was the quote, right, when Donald Trump said it. Go ahead, just read that part.
Donald Trump bemoaned a lack of immigrants to the U.S. from nice countries like Denmark or Switzerland.
I said Norway or Sweden, but it's the same thing. He said from Denmark or Switzerland. So he had even said that thing at one point, bro. I said, that's crazy work.
Well, the bottom part says shithole countries.
Hey, to your comment that it says it doesn't make sense how the majority of Hispanics run the labor force, but they call them criminals. Supposedly they come here and they just take resources, right? But why are they focusing raids at workplaces? Why are they catching them at their jobs?
Oh, golly. That is crazy.
But nobody stops to think about that, right?
Damn it. You don't find that suspicious?
Damn.
That's a good point.
They getting them at the job, but they come here to freeload and get public assistance.
Okay.
But they have to find them at the jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
And the employers were upset that they allowed, because it used to be that they couldn't come to the job or schools or churches.
Right.
Now Trump is going past that. And the employers are upset because they know, the same employers that voted for Trump,
right?
They know that that's their workforce.
The farmers. Did he say the farmers?
They tight because they're gonna lose their employers,
right?
Their employees.
And have to pay the real wages.
It's the same thing that wound up happening somewhat when Cesar Chavez made his name, because the white farmers were trying to take advantage of the Mexican workers, and when he struck, so a lot of people shit on Cesar Chavez because he had a lot to say about the illegal immigrants too. It wasn't so much that they were illegal immigrants, is that they were not in solidarity what he was trying to accomplish, right? And that's a distinction. I know I got a lot of Mexican brothers that are hesitant to say Cesar Chavez was a revolutionary, right? And they get upset. Oh, he's on video saying this about immigrants and stuff. He was really upset about the mindset that they had. And he was calling them that because those were the ones that were breaking the line. He was able to get the ones that were here to unite and form in solidarity to cripple the farmers, right? To cripple the farmers. When I was on my last long flight, I think to Peru, the last time I went there, I watched a little documentary. It was all right, a little documentary on him, and it's a good summation. He was able to unite all the Mexican farm workers, and it started to hinder the Edomite farm owners so that they can get better wages and better conditions to do the work that they did. What happened was the new illegals that were coming over were like, the hell with you, I came here to make my money.
I just need to make money, yeah.
And they went and they were able to still get labor from illegals, right? this is why he had so much to say about them, because they were hindering the progress, just like we talk about niggas that hinder our progress. Right.
Otanio, there you go.
And there ain't nothing wrong with Christ said, if you ain't with me, then you're against me.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't look at Cesar Chavez as a problem in that respect. So you brothers that's Northern Kingdom that have an issue with him because he said that stuff, y'all got to really examine what was behind that. It's no different when we have these freaking coons
right,
that make us look bad and they don't realize the problems that we're doing, right? So he handled some business when it came to that, right? And his thing and his motivation, and listen, all these people eventually they realized maybe I didn't set this up right or whatever it was, but they wound up caving to that. But you got some people that are like, oh no, he said this and he said what, and he called them wetbacks and this and that. Yeah, just like we call them coons and niggas when they act that way, right? It's
Spiggers.
right, or spics, right? Or you damn right.
Call us
I would say the same thing. So
that makes I didn't know. Thank you for educating me.
yeah, you felt that way too about Cesar Chavez, didn't you?
Yeah, because I didn't know.
He called us immigrants and wetbacks. Go read about what he did and why.
I have not.
They like to not explain that part, so you don't realize what he was
trying
saying.
to do.
He wasn't against illegal immigrants as much as he was against the fact that when they came, they weren't on board with what he was trying to do.
Freed kind of labor, cheap labor type
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah.
Instead of like,
it was
hey,
messing
let's
up what
unite.
he was trying to accomplish.
There you go, Otanio, because Otanio was asking me at the youth violence.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
D, can I get something real quick?
It depends on what it is. You're messing us up.
We'll keep it moving.
No, what is it?
I wanted to go into breaking their bands asunder.
Save it.
Okay.
Save it. Don't lose it.
Okay.
Maybe there's a point where we could bring it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to get some more stuff.
Let's go.
Come on, man.
All right. Was that the next one that I had posted? And what happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what started happening was Trump started his deportation flights. Now, mind you, this stuff was happening. Okay. These things were happening regardless. And Mexico was actually the first one that told them no. The issue that they were having, I believe, see, here's the part where they try to make it look, because Captain Abiel, we were talking about it in our one of our Northern Kingdom chats, and we were posting about it, and he was like, oh, because as we know now, it seems like Colombia backtracked.
Mm-hmm.
But there's details that they don't tell you, because we're getting our news from America to make it seem like they're saying, "Ooh, look, Trump, he's a tough guy, no holds barred. He threatened them with tariffs and they backed down."
Right.
So Cap was like, "Oh, damn, he folded." I said, "No. I said, you gotta look and read." I was right. I had posted a video to him. They are obligated to take their citizens back.
Mm-hmm.
All these countries,
right.
You're obligated. That they have an agreement in the global decorum of how they deal with things, that you have to take your citizens back. You can't refuse your own citizens, right? Like, you have to take them back. You have to receive them. The issue that the Colombian president had was that he was treating them all like criminals. They were coming in military aircraft, and there was a former agreement that it was supposed to be in civilian aircraft, but the American media, that's the ones that are trying to frame it a certain way, don't want to tell you that. And that was the issue that he had. And he said, you need to treat them with dignity and respect. You're bringing them in handcuffs. And when we get to the last article, you're going to see some of those details. They try to make it seem like he just crumbled and met all of Trump's demands. And it wasn't. There was a pre-existing arrangement that he said, listen, I'm still going to hold to this agreement, but don't put them in handcuffs. And treat them a little more dignified.
Respect.
Treat them with a little more respect. They're still human beings, and they are people, right? They try to make they went to every Trump's concession and this and that, but Trump backed off on some, because he's basically handcuffing people who are not criminals, and you can say technically they're criminals because they're there illegally, they're violating law because they're illegally, but that's not what he means, right? Like, he's treating them like
violent.
Right. They could take or was it Dylan Roof to Burger King with no handcuffs, right?
Damn.
But
you killed 9 people.
But you got a
After he
family
killed.
that's seeking asylum, and you're throwing them all on a military aircraft and bringing them down in handcuffs. It's not dignified. It's not dignified. They were being treated like animals. And part of the thing that Petro said, the president of Colombia, was Another condition that Trump agreed to was don't be filming it for your propaganda either. You're showing these innocent people in handcuffs and things like that, and all they're guilty of is really wanting to seek a better life. Right? Anyway, show this.
Breaking news at this hour here on Live Now from Fox. You're taking a live look at the White House as we have learned that President Trump is now ordering action to be taken against the country of Colombia, saying, quote, I was just informed that two repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia.
Stop. So notice he says with a large number of illegal criminals.
Right.
Again, fake news, propaganda, popular persuasions, trying to, right? Thinking that this is the, I don't know what the hell the name of the Venezuelan gang that's been jacking things up in Colorado, but in other places. But go ahead, come on.
Order was given by Colombia's socialist president, who is already very unpopular amongst his people. His denial of these flights has jeopardized.
Socialist has become a pejorative for people that are trying to run the government to do things for their people. They'll say that as a negative thing, much like they'll call us a hate group for speaking the truth of the scriptures. It's a pejorative to try to get us to not do the Lord's work. It's a pejorative to try to get us to seem as if we're unhinged and that we preach hate.
Right.
What are they calling him?
A socialist.
A socialist. Did they call Nayib Bukele a socialist? And for what he did?
I believe they did as well.
Okay, I didn't know.
That so it's a dirty word that they use, right? Sometimes they'll use dictator, right? But socialist is the dirty word. That's like the hip talk for his constituents, the people that agree with his ideals and things like that, right? Now, socialism is much more complex than that, and it's shown historically that it kind of doesn't necessarily work the way it should.
Should work, right?
Right, because like a doctor makes the same as a car mechanic in its most base form to understand socialism, right? And why should that be? Right, like if I go to school to take a more qualified field, I should be compensated as such, right? That's oversimplifying it, but at its core, that's where where socialism starts to kind of break down.
Right.
And all these things are man-made things that still try to skirt the scriptures. The way we're supposed to rule and govern is with the scriptures, right? You read that in Deuteronomy 4. This is your wisdom and the sight of the nations, and they're going to say what wise and great people that they are, right? You govern and you move and you lead based on what the scriptures tell you. And it's so much more than just commandments that you apply to yourself. There's things in here that teach you how to resolve conflict, how to deal situationally with things like that. We have examples of forefathers and how they dealt with other nations and in situations in their own. Not all of them were good examples. Sometimes it was bad. But whenever they strayed from the morality of the scriptures, then that's when we started to crumble as societies. Right? So it's the same type of thing. But go ahead. Come on.
The national security and public safety of the United States. So I have directed my administration to immediately take the following urgent and decisive retaliatory measures. And he also just shared that information in a social media post. Some of those measures include an emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the United States. In 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%. Also issuing a travel ban and immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters. Visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government. Enhanced customs and border protection inspections of all Colombian nationals and cargo on national security grounds. Treasury, banking, and financial sanctions to be fully imposed. President Trump saying, quote, these measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of the criminals they forced into the United States.
Man, there's so much to unpack in that because he says they forced into the United States. That goes way back, and I'd have to do a series or run the series back or do another class on it. That goes into the School of the Americas, which is now called WINSEC, all right? And that goes into the Harvest of Empire documentary of the destabilization that they caused during the banana wars, during the agricultural and industrial revolution, and how they raped and robbed the land and the resources. To this day, the impact is still felt there. And they created a destabilized economy in a lot of our countries in so-called Latin America because of the resource richness. When we get to the last article, you're going to see how much important resources come, because Trump's trying to talk about let's do everything here in the United States. But the way most countries under globalism, the way the world is set up, but especially in America, the way we are accustomed to the lifestyle that we have requires global commerce and imports from other countries.
Right.
If not, a lot of the small things that you're used to having, you won't have. It used to be before globalism, when the world was smaller, so to speak, you ate and you had whatever your country had. You were limited by whatever your country could produce, right? So if your main crops was, potatoes and, carrots.
With no rice.
And no rice, that's what you had.
Look at your face.
Along with whatever else you farmed as far as protein and stuff like that. If the only fish you had in your area was salmon, that was the fish, right? And you see that, right? When we travel now, there's certain places, like snapper is very predominant in the Caribbean, right? Like that's a fish that you find everywhere in the Caribbean, and they all know how to make it a certain way, right? Salmon is not native to the Caribbean, so you don't see salmon on a lot of menus, and if you do, it's imported because salmon comes from where? North Atlantic or North Pacific, right? Tuna's another one that's not found in every water. So to give you an idea, so what winds up happening, we're not going to read that part now. When I get to the article, we'll read it. There's so much that comes from these other countries that it's easy for America to talk about it the certain way they want now. But if Latin America were to unite, right, and they have somebody else waiting in China that's chomping at the bit to become the preeminent trader with them,
right?
Because China lacks, because of the way globalism works, China lacks certain resources. And they have a strong influence in our travels. We've seen it in South America and Central America. But they can't get a foothold because of the agreements that are in place with America, right? And then that goes back to the Monroe Doctrine, which I've also spoken about in the past. But again, maybe some stuff that I'll eventually run back and deal with for us to kind of understand the complexity of all this. If they were ever to kind of unite and say, okay, you want to play this kind of hardball? And when we read the article, you're going to see it. The gist of it is it's easy for him to bully one country and say, I'm going to do this and this and tariffs, right? Because people were saying, because they said the immediate impact would be flowers going into Valentine's Day. Ooh, don't mess with their Valentine's Day.
Right.
And coffee. And people were like, well, I'll pay more for coffee. Or coffee from here is better than coffee from there. And I'll do this and I'll do that and this and that. Like 30% of the coffee in this country comes from Colombia.
Right.
That's not small. That's not insignificant, right?
Not.
So they're saying it would raise the price, or people would have to. And people are like, "I'll pay more for coffee, Trump. I'll, the hell with flowers and this and that." Okay, but what happens when you start to put the companies that send copper, that send precious minerals, that send medical resources? Do you know Dominican Republic is one of the largest suppliers of medical equipment to the United States?
Wow, I know that.
Cell phone parts.
Can I read this?
There's all types of little. Nope, we're not gonna read no other articles or nothing yet because I'm on a flow.
He on a flow.
If you want to bring something else scripturally, you can. We're not gonna jump to other articles. I'm going in an order for a reason.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Johnny Come Lately can't even get a phone. Can't even get a phone number. Can't even get a phone number in here. All right.
Real quick.
So you have avocados, for example. We love avocados. Most of them come from Mexico.
Yep.
Right. So China's chomping a bit. If Latin America would ever combine,
right,
and when I read the article, you're going to see that they're actually going to have an emergency summit because of his actions, which you're seeing elements of prophecy unfold. They're starting to see America for what it is.
Right, man of perdition being revealed.
Yes. And decide that, okay, you can keep your tariffs. We're going to deal with China, who's chomping at the bit to be more favorable to us, and all these other countries that you shun. We're going to be able to withstand whatever you think you're going to do to our economy by us not being able to export this type of stuff.
Right.
The reality is, in some ways, the U.S. needs those countries more than those countries need the U.S.
Right.
If they could unify and galvanize, they could get everything that they need and supply each other all these things and other countries these things and be able to branch off from that, right?
That's when America would lean more towards war, though.
And listen, and that's when, and they would. That's when they would get aggressive and it would become a war type thing. Because don't get it twisted, the way that the global community has allowed Russia to just invade a sovereign nation, and because of the fear that they have of Russia and their capabilities, have not really sent. It's been a proxy war. Because what they've done is sent money and resources, but not really troops to help Ukraine.
Right.
And that for them, that's kind of like the fine line where, see, we didn't jump into the war with you, but we're helping to support this country. The same type of thing could, in theory, happen with America, meaning that the world would not really fight.
No one wants to get involved.
No one would want to fight against the United States if they decided to invade somebody.
Right.
Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
Because if they fear Russia enough to not send their own troops, right? Because supposedly all this coalition of nations could have really come against Russia and said, stop this thing.
Right.
Aside from special interests and stuff like that, you think they're going to stand up to the United States?
The Great Dragon.
Military-wise?
Boy, no way, boy.
They're going to let them do whatever the hell they want to do. Right? So...
Wasn't there like people that went, or was that just voluntarily that went to Ukraine?
Oh, we had some black people voluntarily went over to Ukraine.
That was just voluntary.
Yeah, that was voluntary.
Okay.
People were going voluntarily to
Gotcha.
to do that stuff. All right.
Choo-cha.
I'm saying a lot, and
I'm
there's
sorry,
there's more to come out. This
I got
we're gonna sprinkle our scripts in there, okay? But this is kind of trying to bring you to understand what's going on at large with all these moves, right? So. My point being, Petro did not necessarily fold as much as use wisdom in the situation, and several of the countries in what's known as Latin America declared an emergency summit based on recent escalations by Trump, and they're all going to meet to try to hedge off him and these threats that he's trying, because he thinks he's just going to tariff everybody,
right,
and that's going to be the end of it, right? Yeah.
Big tariffs.
We're going to do tariffs.
We're going to do tariffs.
Tariffs are great,
right?
And if
Go ahead.
America,
The social media post that he just issued there on Truth Social. That's on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen, that is a social media post by a Fox News journalist, Bill Maluzhin. As we continue to follow this breaking news, as we have learned that President Trump now ordering action to be taken against Colombia after 2 flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. President Trump saying that the order was given by Colombia's president, and his denial of these flights, President Trump writes, quote, has jeopardized the national security and public safety of the United States, and therefore he has ordered his administration to take a number of retaliatory measures, including emergency tariffs, a travel ban, revoking visas, sanctions, and also financial sanctions as
right. So he came with all these sanctions and everything, right? So let's go. What's the next one that I had? Okay. Let me see. What's this one? I don't know if I want to. Don't. Let me just see what it is first. No, let me stick with the Colombian thing. Get me. We're gonna show those two, but let me see. Get me the other one. Image 7435. Let's talk about that. And I needed to watch more of this. I didn't get to peruse this the way I wanted to, but this is an excerpt from it's like a 30-minute video that was put out with analysis on this, right? And he's basically going to translate what the president of Colombia said in response to everything that was going on, right? Don't just some of us can fall trapped to living in the bubble of the media
and
run with what's said from here.
Right.
He did not fold as much as he
politics
is playing his politics.
Use wisdom, yeah.
Right? He didn't fold. It wasn't some bully tactic and that's it. There's more brewing. There's more brewing. And of course, his intention was always to accept
his citizens
his
back
citizens.
anyway.
Right. But go ahead.
Powerful speeches that are not only strong politically, but they're very poetic. Here is Colombian President Gustavo Petro's open letter to Donald Trump, which I personally translated to make sure it's accurate, because sometimes the online translations are not 100% accurate. He said, quote, "Trump, I don't really like traveling to the U.S. It's a bit boring, but I confess that there are some things that are worth it. I like going to the black neighborhoods of Washington. There I saw a fight in the U.S. Capitol between blacks and Latinos with barricades, which seemed like nonsense to me because they should unite."
Oh, wait a second. Wait. He says they should unite. They should unite. So you got the mayor in Chicago throwing that vibe. You got the president in Colombia talking about that they should unite, right?
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than...
Right. You're going back to an era where, remember, the Brown Berets, the Young Lords, they were down with the Black Panthers, right? You had the AIM as well. You had all these groups.
Martin Luther King with
you had all these groups that were, when you get to a temperature and a climate and environment where these type of things are happening, it's harder to deny that we suffer the same afflictions and the power that we have together than when you have all this thing of, right? So it's funny because going back to the Lord setting this up, in the same way Trump is putting these things out to cut DEI initiatives, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, to stop the transgenderism stuff. He's creating the playing field where we can see plainly, right? The
who's who.
The illusion of inclusion is being peeled back.
Right.
The illusion of inclusion is being peeled back. Because now we're starting to see that we're not on the same page with them. Trump is even talking about people who got naturalized here, if they violate certain things, of removing their citizenship.
Which it can.
He's passing a law now that if you're anti-Semitic, if you speak against Israel and commit a crime in the process, so if they know that you speak against Israel,
wow,
and you get caught for a crime, you lose your citizenship.
Wow.
So he's trying to get these things passed, right? So like you exile somebody, basically.
Yeah.
So Deacon Javier posted, he's driving cross country right now. And he said, it's crazy out there. He's driving through Trump country. And he says, wow. So he tagged me and a bunch of brothers. And he's like, bro, y'all be on guard. I mean, I was born here, so I'm good.
Right.
At least seemingly.
Right.
They do have treason charges, too. So, but he said, like, he said, all of y'all, I don't care what papers you got, be on point. I'm going to show you in a minute. He's even going after Gad.
Yes, I saw that one.
If the son of perdition is not being revealed, that man of sin, I don't know what is. Let's read that real quick.
Hey, yo.
Thessalonians. Oh, my goodness.
Then your eyes are blind.
And then we're going to play this again, and then I want to pause because there's only an excerpt from, he did a 30-minute breakdown on this. I actually want us to read his whole open letter to Trump, all right? But go ahead, read this.
The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Right, the day of the Lord, the day of Christ returning to save us, right? That's not going to come unless there be a falling away first, right? And that falling away, that happened when we went into the various captivities, the diaspora, right? Like 70 AD, Jerusalem fell, right? And you had all this stuff go on, right? And we really lost our identity fully at that point. Yes, there was pop-up civilizations that knew they were Israel, and we ruled during the Dark Ages certain areas, but not really keeping God's laws, right? We just ruled by the strength of our lineage and our wisdom and our might, right? But we really weren't keeping God's laws the way we should, right? Which is why we kind of got diluted, and eventually all that was fulfilled about us wound up happening in that regard. But go ahead, come on.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
That son of perdition, that man of sin has to be revealed. And it's being shown now who that man is. Go ahead, read.
Verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
Right, meaning he does that by robbing our name, blaspheming the name by saying that they're Israel and that they're Jewish, right? He does that by putting himself with a white Jesus, with his Christianity and Catholicism. God is white.
Right.
And he does that by continuing to suppress us with that crafty counsel so that we stay with those bands of brotherhood ununited, right? So you can bring out your scripture if you want before we go back to this and dealing with that aspect of it. Go ahead, come on.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
Right. Against all that is called God. Guess what? Israel means prince of the power.
Yes, it does.
Princes of God. They oppose and exalt themselves against us as well.
They have power with God and man.
Because remember, Ukrainians and Afghans got the red carpet rolled out for them here. Right?
Yep.
And let me tell you something. The Lord is a mastermind because that's the caterpillars that they let in.
Right. Yes. Right.
20,000 Afghan, amongst what was already here, 20,000 Afghan refugees that they opened up the floodgates for them. Airbnb let them open up properties to them and everything like that to house them, right? No such thing happened. And maybe I'll run this backwards and go into the stuff that I went through with the Harvest of Empire and everything else later at another time. But it's all connected. And meanwhile, they just let in all the caterpillars that's going to rise up and eat them up from inside, right? They don't realize. They talking about the criminals that they got to go to the job sites to get. Right? Show that picture, the Latinos for Trump. Talking about going to the job site. Freaking and before you get to that one, the one you're gonna bring out, get me Hosea. Strangers have devoured his strength. Was it 7 and 8?
Hey.
At first I thought this picture was fake, bro. I said, nah, that's like photoshopped or whatever. Bro, he wearing a Latinos for Trump shirt as they raid him and take him out of the work site.
Trump is in the White House laughing.
Latinos for Trump
2024.
2024.
That is crazy.
I wonder who he voted for.
Right.
Read this in Hosea.
He couldn't. He was just for him.
I know. That was the
Read this in Hosea.
Book of Hosea, chapter 7 and verse 9.
Toby be good nigga for massa.
Exactly. Go ahead. Come on.
Strangers have devoured.
Start in the beginning. Start above it.
Verse 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people.
Right, we've gone over this before, right? I mean, he mixed with the people, the complexions and all of that. Go ahead, come on. It also means their customs. Go ahead, read.
Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Uh-huh.
Strangers have devoured his strength.
Strangers have devoured his strength through dilution of the royal blood, right? Because Northern Kingdom has mixed so much more than the other tribes, right, with the other nations. That goes into Ephraim's prophecy about her daughters have gone over the wall. The branches have gone over the wall. If you read that, it talks about his daughters, meaning what? The daughters have lied down. Notice it said the daughters, because we know how the seed is gonna permeate. Right. So, even though there's a mixture, the royal seed that's of the father's seed of the line of the father, like the scripture tells you, still remains to this day. That cannot be broken. But go ahead, come on.
Strangers have devoured his strength.
But it also means in what? Our strength is in these laws, is in these commandments, right? But we're seeking to be like them, right? Go ahead, read.
And he knoweth it not.
And he knoweth it not. Latinos for Trump.
Cloud Hammer, that is just...
I'm sure he knows it now.
Right.
Yo,
wake up call.
I'm sure he knows it now. Let me tell you something. Because they said, and it was mostly Latino men, they said, that helped kind of propel him into office.
Right.
God, that's a slap in the face.
Yes. Go ahead, read.
Yea, gray hairs are here and there upon him, yet he knoweth it not.
Because you got those amongst us. And listen, our people have always had, like you had Jonathan, right? That ungodly wretch. You had people throughout you, Jason. You had Judas, and there's so many more, right? There's always been people that have been in the midst of us, right? You had the taskmasters in Egypt, right? You know what I'm saying? That are gonna be. You had Stephen in Django. You know what I'm saying? So right, exactly. There's always gonna be amongst that. But we talk about Northern Kingdom right now because they've yet to realize that uniting. But like Bishop was bringing out with Isaiah, the hatred on both sides. Because I noticed everybody got uppity. I heard it here when he said Northern Kingdom got to stop hating. And then I didn't see the same energy when it said in Southern Kingdom got to stop hating Northern Kingdom. Why is it always like that? Y'all got to fully embrace it, especially that you see the signs of massive. So what? You know, a Mexican or Puerto Rican took your girl or robbed you or something one time or another, right? So what? You have to understand that there's a spiritual element to this, and they waking up now.
Right.
Let's not forget how Southern Kingdom always dealt roughly with us, right? Remember, we came to what's his name? The one that Solomon's son that took over?
Rehoboam.
We came to Rehoboam. I'm always getting confused with Jeroboam and Rehoboam. We came to Rehoboam to seek ease, right? Because even Solomon was dealing roughly with us, right?
Right.
You see that same thing kind of now, bro. Like a lot of Southern Kingdom. I'm just gonna throw this in there. I'm not gonna digress too much. If there's a large contingent of Northern Kingdom in a school, Southern Kingdom is perfectly happy to let Northern Kingdom do all this type of work, right? Just like you saw spiritually what was happening in the kingdom, right? And the Lord was setting that up so that he can create the element of the division. We know that that's why that happened.
Prophecy.
Right? But I see that even now. And then when Southern Kingdom is approached on it, and I'm not all, if it don't fit you, it don't fit you. They'll say, "Oh, it's that Northern Kingdom just trying to show out and get recognition and this and that." But no, it's just in our spirit that's the way we move, right? We want you put us to work, we gonna work.
Right.
Y'all got your jokes, like a Mexican will build a house in 8 hours and he done, right? You're like, "Yo, slow down." You know what I'm saying? Like
30-minute rooftop.
Right. We ready to move, right?
That's it.
How about you own your side of it that you're not ready to move?
Dang.
Right.
That you're not ready to move with a. And I'm not saying they aren't lazy Hispanics. They aren't lazy Northern. They certainly are.
Yeah.
Right? Plenty. Okay? But I'm getting at the point that I see Israel. When I move and I deal with brothers and sisters, I don't see tribes as much as I see our people.
A nation.
Right.
As much as I see a nation.
Right.
I'll leverage what the scripture says, but I'm telling you, it was real subtle and telling to me because he started off and he said, you know, Northern Kingdom got to stop hating blacks when he read the scripture in Isaiah, and I heard a shift in everybody was like and then when he said the other part, everybody was like right, everybody was like be quiet, right? Nobody had nothing to say. It's that same, and then everybody flips that scripture. They say, "Oh, that's Ephraim vexing Judah." That's not what that scripture says.
Right.
And there's a lack of awareness to it. And you have to realize that we both kingdoms have subtle conditioning that has been done that goes into the band of brothers, right? Breaking that up, casting the bands asunder, that we still kind of fall into today. And all that stuff needs to, like we cannot have that prejudice in our mind that, oh, there's a Northern Kingdom sister, so she's going to act this way. There's a Northern Kingdom brother, so he's going to act that way. How about we look at it as the one nation that we are?
Right.
How about we remember that on the 12 gates, it's the 12 names of the 12 tribes of Israel, and not just the 3 Southern Kingdom. How about we look to that? Because I know a lot of people looked at what Petro said here, and they're just thinking of the Latinos against the black. I see 2 people who are the same people fighting each other. I guarantee you, the excitement was, oh, he's saying, why are they fighting each other? And I'm going to get on the Latinos because you got the Latinos for Trump. But we need that same energy coming from the other side.
Right.
Because if we're coming and we're saying we're going to roll, right, we're going to roll. It's like that seed of 300.
A lot of juice.
The Athenians came and the Spartans were like, yeah, what you going to do? This, that, and the other, right? But at the end of the day, he realized they were there. So he said, all right, y'all come in. Remember, when you read the scripture, it said he's going to bend the bow of Judah and fill it with Ephraim.
Right.
If you got a bow with no quivers,
you ain't got no shot.
You could have 36,000 bows.
Right.
12,000 Judah, 12,000 Levi, 12,000 Benjamin.
Right.
And if you don't got the arrows of the remaining tribes,
what are you going to shoot?
What you going to shoot?
Nada.
So we have to see it from both sides, and we got to move that way, regardless of what your personal experiences might tell you. The Lord wants us united. The Lord wants us together, and it's the last days, and the last time is unfolding in front of us, and we need to start to see that. So each of us needs to support it on each side. It's not a one-sided thing. It's not just that Northern Kingdom has to embrace Southern Kingdom. The other side of it has to happen. And we have to defend each other.
Right.
Which goes time for me to give a little plug. IsraelUnitedInChrist page.
Let's go. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up.
And I understand y'all don't speak Spanish.
Come on, man.
But there's no reason the Phoenix page should have almost 30,000 viewers and the Spanish page only has 12 subscribers. There's no reason the main IUIC page should have 75,000 or 100,000 or whatever it is we have.
Put it up.
And IsraelUnitedInChrist only has 12.3. If you really believe that on those 12 gates is the name of the 12 tribes of Israel,
you be pushing it.
And that Christ ain't coming till the 144 of all those 12 tribes are sealed, then you would go and you would like and subscribe to the Spanish content.
Put some bombs, man.
Deacon, the Northern Kingdom got a larger part than the Southern Kingdom.
Man, come on, man.
So most of the tribes that we need to reach are going to be going to that page.
Are the same ones that's not being supported.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I need y'all to go on over to IsraelUnitedInChrist and hit subscribe, right? And go ahead and listen. You want to take it a step further? Turn on them alerts. And even if you don't understand what the hell's being said, you know the Bible is open and the word's being preached. Give it a little like, drop a little dale luz.
Dale luz, and you
okay? And go on with your day.
Right.
Hey, support La Biblia en Fuego, right? On Clubhouse.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
La Biblia en
Let's
Fuego.
get the room juiced up. All right? Go ahead and make those things happen. Because we need both sides to unite, all right? Okay, read your thing about Band of Brothers.
Psalms 2.
Psalms, chapter, you want 2 and 1?
Start at 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Watch this.
Why do the heathen rage?
So why are the heathen in such an uproar? Come on.
Why is Donald Trump, I'm going to put tariffs.
Exactly.
Wait, finish Hosea.
Oh,
snap.
Book of Hosea.
Strangers have devoured their strength. Put the Trump picture up because it's poetic.
Yes.
Freaking simps. Go ahead.
Chapter 7 and verse 9. Strangers have devoured his strength, and he knoweth it not. Yea, gray hairs are here, and they're upon him, yet he knoweth not.
Yeah, and it's high time you know who those strangers are and how they are just sapping your strength.
Right.
They only want you for as much as they can get something out of you.
And then you're gone.
Out of us. And then you're gone. Let me tell you something. There was a time of the way the world works. And if you look, and I remember vaguely from history class, isolationism doesn't work. The way the Most High has set things up is that all countries rely on each other from one thing or another, right? And any disruption in that creates turbulence in markets and economies and things like that. Trump thinks he's going to go, and history has shown that it doesn't work. When you try to be isolationist and not play on the world stage in modern times, it doesn't work. The perfect example for that is when they put these sanctions and they isolate you from the world market.
Right.
Cuba's a case study. Venezuela's a case study in that, right? How can Venezuela have the largest oil reserve?
Right.
The most precious oil in today's world is more precious than any amount of gold, diamonds, minerals, technology, food, anything. Oil makes the world go round.
Right. That's right. Literally.
And Venezuela has the largest reserves in the world. And yet they are one of the poorest countries right now.
So
because of how everybody and all their agreements, their confederacy that they have together, when they team up against you, crushes your country economically.
So Venezuela tried to do their own thing and isolate. Did they do that?
They're trying,
but
it's not working. Remember, I went over to Comic-Con when Russia was a big supporter at one time in China. They basically tried to create their own little economic NATO.
Yeah.
It was called the Comic-Con, but then, things changed a little bit and they lost a lot of that support and resources. Yeah. So now what's happening is, and now you have BRICS that they're trying, that's why Trump's against these countries that are forming BRICS, right? What they're trying to do now, and like I said, we'll get to a little later, is the Latin American countries now are starting to wisen up because of what Trump is doing, and they want to hold a summit where they're trying to get other world backers that'll take their exports. And China has reached out proactively. We're going to read it and say, hey, we're here for you.
Right.
We'll take your goods and we won't charge you those tariffs. We love that Colombian coffee. Right?
That's crazy.
So listen, it's time that we stop this mentality of not realizing that they're not on our side. They're not our friend.
Right.
And the people who we have tried to paint as enemies, or they have tried to paint as enemies against us, that we're one people.
Right.
Is that we're one people. And going back to my last thought on Isaiah and the vexation and envy. When you read in the New Testament, was it Northern Kingdom that said, nah, we ain't trying to talk to y'all? Or did the sister by the well said, you don't have no dealings with us?
Damn.
Right.
When it speaks about the prodigal son, was it Northern Kingdom that was upset for coming back? Or was it Southern Kingdom that was salty? Remember, he said, why are you making a feast? I stayed with you. I rocked with you.
Right.
That spirit.
It's that spirit,
Hey,
right?
was it Peter trying to have food with them? Or was he ashamed?
Right, exactly. Was Paul saying everything that he said because it was Northern Kingdom that said they didn't? No, we were trying to accept Christ and come back. And Southern Kingdom was giving us a hard time.
Right in the pride.
So remember spiritually how that spirit is there.
Right in the Judah
Okay,
spirit.
how that spirit is there. So
we love you, Judah.
Right.
Hey,
That's all I'm saying.
Can we read verse 10? Verse 9 and 10?
Sure, go ahead.
Read it again.
Strangers have devoured his strength, and he knoweth it not. Yea, gray hairs are here, and they're upon him, yet he knoweth not.
Read.
And the pride of Israel testifieth to his face.
This is what you see. The pride of Israel of Northern Kingdom, because they don't want to go with they don't want to come back and unite and come back to God. Go ahead.
And they do not return to the Lord, their God, nor seek him for all this.
This is the pride that testifies to our face. You got a Latino, a Mexican worker with Latinos for Trump. This is your pride that testifies to your face.
Hey, and I'm not trying to excuse Northern Kingdom needs all the smoke, especially the ones that we're reading about here in Hosea. They need all that smoke, but they also need to come to an open door.
Right.
You can't have all Northern Kingdom show up to the gates and then you're like, I don't know.
Es que tú hablas español. Y yo no hablo español.
You understand? That's all I'm saying. Like, don't forget the other side of it. Right?
Yeah.
Remember, we're not supposed to. Romans 11 talks about that, where he says, don't be puffing yourself up.
Boast against the branches.
Boast against the branches and this and that and the other, right? Like, it's the same tree.
Right.
It's the same tree. All right. Okay, bring out what you're going to bring out, and I want to go back to this.
All right, come on.
The book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 1. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing?
Because guess what? Just like you were bringing out, Northern and Southern Kingdom, we got a disparity against each other, and these
disparity.
Thank you.
He said it.
I just threw that up.
I think you combined disparity and discrepancy into one word.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. But they're putting these things in front of us to keep us divided. But why are they going so hard on us when they letting all of these other immigrants in? Come on.
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together.
So they, again, just like in Psalms 83, they all got together in one consent. Come on.
Against the Lord.
Against God, the black Messiah. Come on.
And against his anointing.
And against his anointing, which are who? The Northern and Southern Kingdom of Israel. Come on.
Saying, let us break their bands asunder. And cast away their cords from us.
So look, they're taking all the people that helped build the roads and the skyscrapers and everything, and now they're starting to get rid of them. Come on.
He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh.
Right.
The Lord shall have them in derision.
Because they're doing all this stuff for naught. Like, they think that they're separating us, but in this affliction that they're trying to put on us, they're actually bringing us closer together.
Right. All praises. Let me get Hosea 5:15, and then I want Ephesians 2:14.
The book of Hosea, chapter 5 and verse 15. Bring it out. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
Right. And this specifically was going into Northern Kingdom, but he wound up doing that to all Israel as well, right? But man, Northern Kingdom, if it ain't your time, it's your time. But at the same time, while this is happening for Northern Kingdom, it's showing our Southern Kingdom brothers. Because look at the mayor from Chicago.
Right.
He's pissed. That was sincere. That wasn't politics to me.
Right.
That was sincerity in what he said.
He was feeling it.
He was feeling it. And it's that's the reception that we need to see. That's the open hand that needs to be there so that we can go ahead and make sure that we come together.
Right.
Right? Listen, you have to understand spiritually that all this happened because the Lord, we just read how the Lord hardens men's hearts, does this.
Right.
He hardened Southern Kingdom's heart and he hardened Northern Kingdom's heart against each other for a time. Mm-hmm. But that time is past. Read this 5:15 again.
I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
Right. Mm-hmm. Our offense and what? In our divisions, in our straying from the Lord, and for us to return to him. To acknowledge him is you return back as an Israelite and you repent. Go ahead, come on.
And seek my face.
Seek this face where? In this Bible.
Right.
Not in Christianity, not in Catholicism, certainly not in politics and in presidents. Go ahead, come on.
In their affliction, they will seek me early.
In their affliction, they will seek me early.
Back to their countries.
Bro, you never hear these presidents and these people. And I'm going to show you the Honduras, Brazil, is talking out now, too, against this stuff. And this is just his first 2 weeks in office. I'm so excited.
For the next 4.
Get me Ephesians 2:14. Come on. So we got to look at it this way. And going back to what Petro said, he saw them with barricades, blacks on one side, Latinos on the other, fighting each other.
Right.
They should be uniting.
Right.
They should be. But here's the thing. That's like what you read in Zechariah about gather yourself together.
Right.
But here's the thing. Gather yourself together in what? That's the part that's still missing, and that's where we fill in.
Yes.
Because we've tried to gather together before, but not under this Bible. Remember, I said we got to return and seek his face. You're going to find his face here in this Bible.
Right.
We need to return under this banner, under this standard, together under this, and move in that direction, and not be looking to other nations. Get me that. Is it Lamentations 4? And our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us, and then go back to Ephesians 2:14.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for our eyes, as yet failed for our vain help.
Right. The vain help of President Trump, President Biden, even President Obama.
Right.
Who's, like I said, to this day, deported more people, detained more people to this day. Go ahead, come on.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save
us.
This,
that's the strangers that's devoured our strength. You so-called Hispanics, Latinos, whatever, Latinx, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, you need to put all that worldly BS doctrine aside and return to the God, the living God of the Bible. Seek his face here as an Israelite. And return and unite with your people, all right? And return and unite with your people. You got something else?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
That's where you seek his face. Go ahead, come on.
No one of these shall fail.
Because the things that are happening now, stuff like that has been prophesied all through the scripture. Go ahead, come on.
None shall want or make.
Because that's the only confidence, that's the only surety that we have. Right? That goes into Romans 9 where we were reading and it says some to honor, some to dishonor.
Right.
The Lord's going to fulfill what he wants to fulfill. What you desire, what you think, what you feel, what you want to do, if it's not in line with this, it's not going to prosper.
Right.
Go ahead, come on.
For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them.
The spirit of the Lord is what's going to gather us. So yes, we should be united. But we have to unite under this. And it starts with things like this. They're going to unite as countries first. They're going to do these things, right? This and listen, to me, it's not coincidence at all that we've been building up over these past few years, going out there, and the reception's been generally fantastic wherever we've gone, right? And now this, and then what's happening on the world stage, and it's becoming more prevalent so they can see who the enemy really is. And I think it's going to be much more profound and impactful when we go out there. Give me this in Ephesians 2:14.
Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 14. For he is our peace.
Christ.
Who hath made both one.
He came to make both one. Why was this being preached? Because even after Christ, you still had that same element. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The Bible says we got to get together.
Yeah.
But you guys are like this. And you guys are like that. Go ahead, come on.
And hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
The middle wall of partition between us is broken down. Is broken down. Okay? Go ahead. Jump to verse 16. I'm jumping around.
Verse 16. And that he might reconcile both unto God in one body.
In one body, meaning northern and southern kingdom coming back together, blacks and Latinos coming back together. Come on.
By the cross. Having slain the enmity thereby.
Let the enmity cease between us. Let the enmity cease between us. Go ahead, read.
And came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were nigh.
And to them that were nigh, them that were close, and them that were far off. For northern kingdom and southern kingdom. Come on.
For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father.
Now that Christ has died and resurrected for us, that whole spirit needs to die. That spirit of division, that spirit of vexation, that spirit of envy, it needs to stop. And it got to be a hard stop. A few weeks back, I did the show and I said the agenda is going to be to focus on the division of the brotherhood now.
Right.
That's what there's going to be, because they can't gainsay the doctrine, though they try. So what they'll try to do is prevent the gathering of our people together.
And you know what? You know, the mastermind with God, he's showing us we have one common enemy. To the point where this man with no understanding can see, look, the blacks and the Latinos,
bro, why you
they need to come together.
The fan, and why is it so low? Tobias looks like he's taking a shower.
I'm telling you.
Right?
Oh, am I? Hold on.
Look, I got to raise it up, bro. It's hot in here.
It's hot.
It's hot.
See, it's not just me.
Damn.
You're trying to say it's just me.
Bro, I know. I'm looking at you. I mean, I'm warm, but then I'm looking at you suffering, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
And then he like blocking the fan.
Right. And then he blocking it with his whole... Look, and jeez. All right, go back to what we had here. Go back to what we had here.
Yo, this Ephesians 2 is really good.
Powerful speeches that are not only strong politically, but they're very poetic. Here is Colombian President Gustavo Petro's open letter to Donald Trump, which I personally translated to make sure it's accurate, because sometimes the online translations are not 100% accurate. He said, quote, Trump, I don't really like traveling to the U.S. It's a bit boring, but I confess that there are some things that are worth it. I like going to the black neighborhoods of Washington. There I saw a fight in the U.S. Capitol between blacks and Latinos with barricades, which seemed like nonsense to me because they should unite.
Stop. Because they should unite. Because they should unite. That middle wall of partition is down. We need to unite under this right here. Under this right here. And let enmity cease. Put all that stuff aside. I'm telling you right now, the token, right? Because somebody said that they call me the token Hispanic guy.
Right.
I'll proudly be the token Hispanic guy. Okay,
that part.
The token Hispanic guy is telling all the other so-called Hispanic Latinos, it's time for us to unite. It's time for us to unite. Let me look in the camera. It's time for us to unite. Unity. It's time for us to unite. All right. See, I've been uniting. Okay. I never was ununited. Okay. But it's time for the rest of y'all to get it together. Okay. Because there's obviously something. There's a spirit moving that we need to see, and we need to join together and move in one body and one spirit. And let me tell you something. And you got to put all your other BS aside, how you think something should be run, how this, that, and the other. All right? Let the leaders lead. Let the Spirit of the Lord from the top down through Christ, all through the leadership, lead and move, and trust that there is a God, that if there's something that you think could be done better or should be done better, the Lord will make it so. Just fall in line, fall in step. A lot of you are jumping on a moving train. You were talking to me about the spirit of the leaders that was there in the beginning, in the basement with the bishop, and even further back, right? And versus spirits that came later before the show. Listen. Let those men that the Lord decided to call into Christ before the rest of y'all lead, and stop leaning on your feelings, your emotions of how we move and how we do stuff. Just get with the program. You jumped on a moving train that already had a course set, that had an engineer and a pilot and a conductor and all these officers in place, and you just get in where you fit in and move with the program. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. All right? Go ahead, play.
I confess that I like Walt Whitman and Paul.
All right, scroll back. We're gonna read it a little bit. Like I gotta go back because I might bring more of this out. He did like a 30-minute segment on this. Go back to the English translation. I want to read the whole letter. We don't need to him here reading it. Stop, and just try to block that down. Okay, go ahead. Read that, Tobias, from the top.
Colombian President Gustavo Petro's open letter to Donald Trump. Trump, I don't really like traveling to the U.S. It's a bit boring, but I confess that there are some things that are worth it. I like going to black neighborhoods of Washington. There, I saw an entire fight in the U.S. Capitol between blacks and Latinos with barricades, which seemed like nonsense to me, because they should unite. I confess that I like Walt Whitman and Paul Simon, and Noam Chomsky and Miller. I confess that Sacco and Vanzetti, who have my blood in the history of the U.S., they are memorable and I follow them. They were murdered for being labor leaders with the electric chair by the fascists who are in the U.S. as well as in my country.
Whenever we try to rise up for and that goes back to the Cesar Chavez and how that stuff was dealt with, right? That's what I'm saying. You're always going to have people that's going to go against them. Oh, he said something offensive to me. Well, really examine from the perspective of what we're trying to accomplish, right? Go ahead, come on.
I don't like Trump's oil. He is going to end the human species because of greed. Maybe one day over a drink of whiskey that I accept despite my gastrals.
My gastritis.
Gastritis. We can talk frankly about this, but it's difficult because you consider me an inferior race. And I'm not. Nor is any Colombian.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh.
That's right. We the superior race. Go ahead, come on.
So if you know someone who is stubborn, that's me, period. You can use your economic strength and your arrogance to try to carry out a coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat.
Like they did with Salvador Allende.
Damn.
But I die on my own terms. I resisted torture and I resist you.
He remembers the School of the Americas. He remembers the influence that they had over there.
Yeah.
Right? Because the School of the Americas started in Panama during the time of them wanting to maintain control of the Panama Canal, which they're talking about going to take it back militarily if they have to. It's the Monroe Doctrine all over again.
Yep.
And like I'm not going to have time to go over the Monroe Doctrine today, but maybe the next show I'll talk about it a little more. All right? Go ahead. Come on.
I don't want slave owners on the side of Colombia. We already had many and we freed ourselves. What I want on the side of Colombia are lovers of freedom. If you can't accompany me, I'll go elsewhere. Colombia is the heart of the world, and you have not understood it. This is the land of the yellow butterflies, of the beauty of remedios.
Remedios.
So it was Spanish.
Remedios.
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 Go ahead.
Call him.
Stop it.
But also of the colonels, Aureliano Buendia, a revolutionary leader in the novel of 100 Years of Solitude.
It cuts off there, so we're not going to be able to see the rest of it.
I couldn't see the rest either.
All right, what else we got? Come on, we got to keep going through this because we plus in it, but I'm not going to plus.
Plus.
All right? We plus, not plus. All right?
Right.
Go ahead, come on. What else I got?
You want
That's
to do
next?
the,
Yep.
Yeah.
Show me the. So this is the president of Honduras. So she said, "Oh, this is what's going on." I'm telling you, stuff is turning up.
It's getting
Stuff
spicy.
is turning up. Come on.
It's getting spicy.
Pueblo hondureño, quiero manifestar que esperamos que la nueva administración norteamericana del presidente electo democráticamente, Donald Trump, sea abierta al diálogo, constructivo y amistoso. Que no tome represalias innecesarias contra nuestros migrantes frente a una actitud hostil de expulsión masiva de nuestros hermanos. Tendríamos que considerar un cambio en nuestras políticas de cooperación con Estados Unidos, especialmente en el campo militar, en el que sin pagar un centavo por décadas mantienen bases militares en nuestro territorio, que en este caso perderían toda la razón de existir en Honduras.
Man, that's a direct indirecta. She said, you keep up the way you rolling, your base needs to shut.
Right.
You don't pay
folks.
1 cent for your base here.
They don't
Let me tell you,
pay.
there's nothing like identifying the common enemy
Right.
for people who have sense that'll unite people together.
Right.
And when you look at the common enemy, all right, then you're going to be able to see, all right, how we need to be together. You got to realize that the enemy's at the gates and that they against all of us.
Right.
They've already shown who they are.
Right.
They're revealing themselves. Yep.
Right. I know a lot of times we just talk about the transatlantic slave trade, and it needs to be shown. The reason that that's so impactful is because that was a strong catalyst for the tents of Judah to be raised first. Right. So that's why there's so much relevance on that. Let's not forget the genocide of Gad and Reuben when they got here in order for them to even establish the transatlantic slave trade. And let's not think for 1 second that all of what you have here as far as Israel came here. Remember, we've been bringing out for the longest. Athan just kind of went over it again in 2 parts. That we had come here prior to coming here after the events of Second Ezra. We were here prior to that under Solomon.
Right.
We were making voyages here. That's why you have I've gone over this with the Olmec heads. And they talk about how it predates it, right? Well, yeah, of course, because why? We were making trips here when we were one nation prior to that. All right? This is how you find Persian writings here. This is how you find Babylonian artifacts and Egyptian artifacts here. It wasn't them coming here. It was us because those were the reparations that they gave us to come here. So you find components of those things. So Honduras is now saying something, right? Let me see what else I got.
Bruh.
You're on my side.
Yep. I think that's Shine Bomb. Even though she's Amalek, but right now she's rolling in that.
Yeah, she's doing good by the people right now.
So go ahead, come on.
Breaking. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum condemns Donald Trump's attacks on immigrants and stresses.
Come on.
The Mexicans there sustain the economy of the United
You're
States.
damn right they do. Go ahead, come on.
In the countryside, in services, everywhere.
Right. So she's putting the foot down and saying, listen, don't think you're going to play hardball this way either. Now, let me say something about her. I don't know what's happening with her. She Amalek. We're going to go with that she Amalek for now.
Right, for now.
But Captain Nabio posted an Instagram. It's a little long, so I didn't send it. But basically, it's saying she signed 2 laws into power that recognizes indigenous indigenous Mexicans, and that they can now establish their own lands. Right. So the same way, much like they did with Gad here. So she's acknowledging, right? Remember, nation within a nation. So she's acknowledging that indigenous have a right to thrive, and she signed a law specifically for Afro-indigenous. And for them to have rights reinstituted into them as well to establish their own lands and stuff like that. And she made a statement in this. You know what? I'm going to have to send it because it's good. We're plus-plussing anyway, so.
Let's go!
Tobias,
stop playing footsies with me, bro. What the hell is this?
Get to your side of the table,
Stop!
Is that why you sweating over there like that?
This guy, bro.
Hey, real quick, get Job 9:24.
For real, though.
Yeah, because I was thinking this the whole time, right? We have a common enemy, right? But earlier when we read in Hosea, it was saying they don't even in Hosea, what did he say? They know not, right?
Yes.
Read that real quick.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
So the Bible tells us who the earth and the power of it is given to. It's the wicked. Read.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
That man is the same man that did iconoclasm, covered the judges' faces. He covered over Christ. He's done all of this evil. Read.
If not, where? And who is he?
That's the question we've been asking for so long, but right now the son of perdition is being revealed.
Right.
And as he's revealed, we have a common enemy. God's telling us, gather yourselves together, because obviously none of us are desired. They're kicking them out of Ark. They're going into Puerto Rico trying to get the Dominicans out.
Right. We're going to show that too.
We're not desired nowhere.
We're going to show that too. Go ahead. Show this. This is what Scheinbaum was doing. Go ahead.
Recently, la Presidenta de Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, signed 2 edicts into law, which are breathtaking to say the least. What she did and what she signed into the Mexican Constitution are 2 parts. The first part was that the indigenous people within Mexico of many different tribes will now have the ability to have their own sovereign nations. Now, bear with me here. So basically, a commission is set up to recognize those indigenous nations within Mexico and teach them and show them how they can rule autonomously and set up their own rulership over their own people, because there's a lot of indigenous different tribes within Mexico. The second part of that edict that was signed into the Mexican Constitution recognizes, and hear me out here, Afro-Indigenous. So, and that basically states that written into the Mexican Constitution, it is now law that the Afro-Indigenous are recognized as full citizens of Mexico and are afforded their indigenous status. And then she went on to state that Mexico recognizes that Afro-Indigenous people were on this continent hundreds of years before the Spaniards stepped 1 foot on the soil.
Stop.
Have mercy.
This goes back to what we've brought out. All right, I've gone over it. Deacon Adon has gone over it. All leadership in some form or another has brought these type of things out.
Right.
This goes into what you read in 2nd Ezra's and even prior to that, right? He's saying like these type of acknowledgments now begin to change the narrative that we migrated over the landmass, the Bering Strait, that we're Mongoloid and all of that. It throws a lot of that stuff out the window as far as that. All right, scroll towards the end. Because I'm gonna tell you what he winds up saying at the end. This dude, right? Yeah, stop there. Go ahead.
Boston, that makes it a hell of a lot more feasible, don't it? Afro-Indigenous were here hundreds of years before the Spaniards showed up. I'll put this into perspective. The English Bible, the most widely sold book in history, the Bible. New Testament, Old Testament, you can go back in that Bible to the beginning of time of man. Adam, Eve, his wife, conceived from the rib of Adam, and the Creator took that rib. Their children, Cain and Abel, and how that conflict and one brother slew the other. The creation of the earth, the waters, the fish in the deep, the firmament. Okay, enough Bible lesson for today. But yet we can't go back before Columbus?
Stop. So you were saying? Like our history starts with the Spaniards.
Right.
He says, but yet the Bible talks about the existence of man from the beginning and how the whole earth was overspread by that. But then somehow it's all mysterious as to how we got here. They knew and they've always known. And but if they were to acknowledge it, it would upend the status quo, and it validates everything that's here. And they can't do that because that goes against what they went through in Psalms 83 to be on one accord. Go ahead, keep playing. Come on.
What was the black man's history? How did he get here? The Phoenician?
See what he's saying?
Yes.
He says
Israelite?
the Phoenicians, the Israelite. Did you hear him run it back?
Run
3
it
seconds?
back.
We gotta bring that book. We gotta bring that book.
How did he get here?
Listen.
The Phoenician? The Israelite?
And he stops there.
stopped.
And he stops
And he
there.
just stopped.
And he stops there. He's heard us.
Yes, he has.
Yes, he has.
Because
Look at
nobody,
his name.
no other camps talk about the Phoenicians being the Israelites.
Right.
Nobody talks about that stuff.
Right.
Nobody talks about that stuff. IUIC is the only camp that talks and teaches that stuff.
Heavy. It's heavy.
Heavy.
Yo, this brother knows who
Right?
we are. Yeah.
Heavy. He knows who we are, and he's teaching that stuff. Drop it. Let me see what else you got. Okay, show the other one. Simeon deported in PR. Nope, that
Right
one.
there.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yes. The hell? Show this. I'm gonna show you a few more things that's going on. Then we're gonna read a couple articles so you can see what's popping off.
Federal agents are carrying out a raid right now in San Juan, Puerto Rico, in Barrio Obrero. They're deporting illegal Dominicans. According to what's learned, they're implementing the President Trump executive order, which seeks to apply immigrant law in the United States. They're deporting illegal migrants coming from Dominican Republic. Look at this other video.
Hey, let me tell you something. Stop for a second.
Out there and everything.
You know he don't give two shits about Puerto Rico, Trump.
Hell no.
It's driven by something else. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people in ICE and all these departments that they feel the same as him.
Yeah.
So they're doing it with gusto.
Vigor.
With gusto.
Right.
Yes. They got
a battery in their back.
Yeah, man. They pumped up on it. They pumped up. Go ahead, play.
ICE raid in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So get ready.
Drop that one. Go to the other one.
They're hunting.
Go to the other one. I'm trying to go through these quick because I gotta get to the articles. Yep. Go to that one. Go ahead. Play this one.
Esto está feo. Está feo porque honestamente hablo por mi comunidad dominicana. Nosotros somos los que ponemos el pecho todos los días aquí. Ustedes saben, nos levantamos a las 5 de la mañana a trabajar, como es el caso de mi esposo.
Porque aquí nosotros, los emigrantes, somos los que tenemos el país parado.
No, porque supuestamente aquí en Puerto Rico eso no iba a estar, iba a estar sin efecto. De esa redada de recoger a los indocumentados, no entiendo nada.
Los arrestos de inmigrantes indocumentados también llegan a Puerto Rico, donde ICE llevó a cabo un operativo en el llamado Barrio Obrero.
No, ellos llegaron y se bajaron de la guagua y muchos están ahí sentados y ellos tienen que proceder con una ley que Trump aprobó. Pero yo creo que lo que están haciendo es ilegal porque hasta que tienen documentos poniéndole esposa.
Ese señor ha trabajado aquí toda una vida, ese señor tiene más de 30 años aquí, ¿me entiendes?
Para mí eso es un atropello y es ilegal porque ellos no son delincuentes, no han matado a nadie, no han hecho nada, solo están ahí compartiendo.
Estoy desesperada, no sé a quién preguntarle, no sé dónde ir, no sé qué hacer. Si fuera un delincuente, yo te digo, yo misma dijera, sí, qué bueno que lo arrestaron, pero es una persona sumamente trabajadora.
UPR brothers need to go to Barrio Obrero this week and go teach over there because it's fresh in their mind with the ICE raid. So I don't know if Officer Halez is watching or any of you brothers that's over PR. Y'all need to head out there ASAP, all right? I mean, what? So today's Wednesday. Y'all could get out there Thursday, Friday for fly missions and do camp out that way on Saturday, all right? Because that's fresh in their mind. She asking for answers. She says she don't know where to go. She don't know what to do. She don't understand why this is happening. You need to go over there this weekend, okay? You need to go over there this weekend. All right, drop that. Let me see what else I got. Yeah, show me this. Go in order. You're moving too fast. Show me this.
Coño.
Pumpity brakes.
Damn.
Read this. So read what happened here, right?
William Coffin.
Nancy Mace says, "Can they be live streamed somewhere?" Asking for a friend. Someone said, "I would watch. I'll pay to watch deportations on live TV."
Wow.
But I'm telling you, the hatred, like you want to talk about the wake up call,
right?
You're getting your nigga wake up call now too, right? Okay, so look what he says. This guy, whoever who's coughing it up, is read that
at the bottom.
The top.
Look. I'm an atheist. I can't even wrap my head around what kind of worms would need to be crawling around in your grotesque black hearts to not only have these thoughts, but to share them with others. Perhaps a Christian could explain it to me.
Damn.
And then look at a comment down there.
They're the same Christians that enjoyed lynching. Fix it, Jesus.
Right. They're the same Christians that enjoy lynching. Let me get the next one. Check this out. Remember, they're really, you know that census is talking about white people by like 2050 are going to be the minority here, right? Because of so much of us being here and producing, right? There's a bigger thing behind this. Just like you go back to Psalms 83. Get that part. Let's just jump to the part where it talks about they've consulted against thy hidden ones.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 3. Read out. For lo, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Consulted against thy hidden ones. Go ahead, come on.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right. So they want the name of Israel to continue to be no more in remembrance. But in their nervousness with this stuff, they don't realize that they're actually bringing attention to this. So look at what this guy said. He's not really talking about Europe per se.
Caucasians.
He's not talking about Europe, the place. He's talking about the
Caucasus.
Caucasus. Right, read it.
Make Europe great again. We need to increase the birth rates. Give all women huge tax breaks for having children.
Right. He's saying, what he's really saying is make white people great again.
Yes.
Right? Well, they were never great, but he means absolute control,
Like
without question.
Like when Greece was ruling.
Right, like when Greece was ruling. Greece and Rome. Go ahead, come on.
Worth a try. Something needs to change, or Europe and Asia and most of Earth will disappear.
What does he mean? What does he mean?
He's saying Moab and their kin, Ammon and their kin, which is the two
He's talking
powerful-
about that confederacy.
Yes.
Can we get verse 5 and 6?
Yes.
Verse 5. go
Verse
ahead.
5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Now, these are the top 3 enemies of God. Come on.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The white man.
And
which is Europe.
Yeah. The Arabs.
Of Moab.
And China. That's Asia. Crazy work.
Right. And all those nations are there. He's talking about that in that confederacy. So let me get you hip to the hip talk, what you're really seeing here. Make white people dominant again, like in the time of Greece and Rome, right? We need to increase the birth rates because we're not having enough babies, right? All these niggas and spics is taking over, all right? Give women huge tax breaks for having children. And Elon Musk says worth a try. Remember that they were defending his Nazi salute.
Yeah.
Right.
He says something needs to change, or Europe and Asia and most of the earth. How does that even make sense? That if they're not having babies, most of the earth disappears. This is hip talk.
Yes.
This is code speak.
Yes.
That's the dog whistles between each other.
Right.
And they're saying that they need to be able to let their rate that what he's talking about is their end.
Yes.
Right? Get that second Ezra 6.
6.
Get that.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 9.
Yep.
For Esau is the end of the world.
They know this. Go ahead, come on.
And Jacob is the beginning of it.
He says, and Europe and Asia, and most of the earth will disappear. Go ahead, come on.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
That it that followeth. That it that followeth.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Jump to 54.
Verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest.
So above it.
Verse 53. Where are you trying to
50? Read 53.
53. Upon the 6th day.
Right. So he remember how the Issachar cat was saying, look, all this history from the beginning. Right. This summarizes it. Go ahead, come on.
Upon the 6th day thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures.
Yep.
Of him come we all.
Of him come we all.
And
all people. Go ahead, come on.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
And that chosen people.
Also.
And that chosen people also. Come on.
Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for ours.
He's not talking about all humanity. He's talking about his chosen people.
Right.
The world was made for our sakes. Go ahead, come on.
As for the other people, which also come of Adam.
Right. This is Europe, Asia, and most of the other earth. Go ahead, come on.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
You got to put some power on that.
Thou hast said that they are nothing. Go ahead, come on.
Thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
The Lord has spoken it, and some of these freaking guys know it. I'm telling you, some of these guys know it.
That is the absolute worst insult in this entire Bible. Your whole race plus all your partner them in Psalms 83, y'all only add up to a spit coming out of somebody's mouth.
Damn. Can we show a quick short? What he's the
I still got to read the articles. What's it say?
he says we're gonna enter into a dark ages again if the third world happens.
Okay, yeah, you can play that. That's good.
So with this hip talk about worth a try, right? Look at what he says. This is years ago.
You be having good stuff to say, but
Yeah.
sometimes you mess up the flow.
Yeah, like
It's what years
This
ago
is good.
he said.
This is good.
What did you say? They know. Some of these people know the Bible, right? Elon Musk knows the Bible. Put that real quick. Real quick on the real quick.
The things that I believe in, like extending life beyond Earth, making life multiplanetary. I'm a big believer in sort of Asimov's Foundation series, or the principle that you really want to. I recommend reading the Foundation series, but it's like if you know that there's likely to be, we don't know, but there's likely to be another Dark Ages, which it seems, my guess is there probably will be at some point.
So stop. So the Foundation, it's a tough read. But they say Isaac Asimov was like kind of the father of like the modern sci-fi. I read some of the books when I was a kid because my aunt was really into it and I was into sci-fi, right? So they could be a little dry at times, but it's a lot of political undertones to it. If you don't want to watch that, Apple TV has a great series on the summation of this. And of course, they try to make it multiracial in the cast and things like that.
Right. Oh,
but I see the foundation.
Yeah.
I see the whole spirituality behind it, and it's basically like a supremacist ideology and the rulership. Same thing.
Yeah.
So when he's talking about that, people who know, he's talking about that same type of mindset of what we just read in summation, right? Like that's that white supremacist type of attitude and doctrine, right? Go ahead.
I'm not predicting that we're about to enter Dark Ages, but that there's some probability that we will, particularly if there's a third world war. Then we want to make sure that there's enough of a seed of human civilization somewhere else to.
Stop.
Wait a minute.
Go back
Wait a
a little
minute.
bit. Go back a little bit. Go back to like the 30-second mark, bro. This guy knows the Bible.
Yeah.
And this is dog whistle stuff.
Yes.
This is a good clip. We should save this one too.
And
he's talking a lot of hip talk here. Yeah, IT, make sure you save this one.
he's in the UN. He's at the UN place.
He's talking a lot of, those who know what he's saying, they know exactly what he's talking about.
saying.
He's talking about us coming to power, Christ returning. Get that in Wisdom of Solomon 5. This is what he's talking about.
Let's go.
This is what he's talking about. And we're gonna finish this. We're gonna finish this part. We're gonna finish this clip.
See, the real quick came in clutch now. Hurry up.
What verse are we?
First one.
Verse 1?
Stop trying to validate yourself.
Thank you.
Just a little bit.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1.
Come on.
Then shall the righteous man stand in great
He
boldness.
says we gotta avoid this.
Right.
He said after the Third World War,
Right.
we're gonna enter another dark ages.
It's a probability, not a
Normal
possibility.
people who lack faith, who don't understand the scriptures, are thinking he's talking about everybody like cavemen and sticks and stones. Right. It's not what he's talking about. We know that the Dark Ages was called the Dark Ages because
of the nights.
the dark because of
Because of the night.
right. Because darkness was ruling
That's
the earth.
right.
Because darkness was ruling the earth. Go ahead, come on.
Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness.
Right, we're going to be emboldened in those last days. Why? Because we're going to see like Christ and all the angels looks like us.
Right.
And we know that we lived everything like we read in Isaiah 34 about none of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. And that day is going to just all click. And we're going to stand in great boldness because we stand bold now.
Right.
But in that day, when we see all that far beyond what we could have imagined come to fruition,
Right.
we're going to stand and you're going to be more emboldened.
Right.
You think you bold now. You
Right.
think you preach strong now.
Right. Just wait.
Go ahead. Come on. Read.
Shall stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him.
That's where you're going to look right next to that freaking Elon Musk or whoever the hell it is.
Your probability is probable.
Say so.
Your probability is
Probability is probable. Yeah. Read.
And made no account of his labors.
And made no account of his labors.
Right.
Meaning what? Our foolishness of preaching, all this stuff,
All of that.
being on shows like this, all those things. Go ahead, come on.
When they see it, they shall be troubled.
Now, when they see it, they'll be troubled. The righteous
Right.
man's going to be emboldened.
Right.
But the other nations and even those niggas amongst us that never wanted to repent,
Right.
that said we was crazy, that was
Right.
kissing Master's ass,
Right.
they going to be in this category too. Read it.
When they see it, They shall be troubled with terrible fear.
Terrible fear. Go ahead, come on.
And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
Even because you know why? At the last trump,
Right.
At the last trump.
Hold up.
they are still in their pomp.
Yes.
Is this happening?
Not gonna be able to
Yes.
accept it.
Right.
Yes.
That's why. Read that part again. Just that part.
And the strangeness of his salvation.
It's gonna hit them in a way that I thought that this would never happen.
Right.
Is this really happening?
This can't be.
Right.
I knew that it was possible. They're talking about it.
Probable.
It was probable.
It was written.
They are going to
There's
be
no
in
way.
denial.
Yes.
Even in that moment.
When they get
Right.
flamed up and roasted.
Even in that moment, they're going to be in denial that this is really happening.
Right.
Go ahead, come on.
So far beyond all that they looked for.
Ooh, so far.
It's even worse than we thought.
It's worse than they thought. It's worse than they thought. Is that it?
That was it.
Ooh, right. Go back to Elon.
That was pretty good.
Go back to
That we
Hail
will,
Hitler,
particularly
Elon.
if there's a third world war. Then we want to make sure that there's enough of a seed of human civilization somewhere else
White people.
to bring civilization back.
And that's talking about when they're going to hide in the rocks.
Right.
Yes.
And then they're
Right.
gonna come out in one last rebellion,
Right. And they
for
gonna
us,
get right off
for us to make the probability
Face off
probable.
the earth.
Right. Go ahead.
And they,
Shorten the length of the Dark Ages.
And shorten the length of the Dark Ages.
No, listen. He told you. He just said.
they trying to come out the pit after 1,000 years.
Yeah, but look, he said it's probable, but he's really saying he gave you
gonna-
a time
it's gonna happen.
after the Third World War. We it's only gonna be a little bit of us left, so we gotta
and
hide
perhaps-
and come back, and then we go get them again.
He said,
like
and
we
perhaps-
did in the Dark
wow,
Ages,
showing
going into
the
the
link-
Renaissance.
And that shows you his motivation for all this space stuff
travel.
that he's doing.
Trying
Yes.
to go. And that's why Trump said, yeah, we're going to continue our, what did he say? There's one word he said.
He said Mars now, not the moon. He said not
said
go back
Mars.
to moon.
Yeah.
He said
Mars.
in his
Our
speech, hold on,
space travel.
I have it. He says he's going to go back to Mars.
Because them darkies
Hold
on
on.
the moon.
Bro, he
Hold
said,
on, hold
human-
on.
Yes.
on the moon.
He says one specific, we're going to continue our space travels or our space something like our something to Mars and put the red, white, and blue
What did he
flags
say?
in
Our inward thought is our house shall stand forever.
forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. That's in Psalms.
In
Can we get
Psalms.
that real quick?
Where's that?
Psalms, it's been a while, 40-something maybe? 47? 40-something?
It's
been a while.
49:11.
49:11.
49-11. Mm-hmm.
The book of Psalms, chapter 49 and verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
Even on Mars.
Even on Mars.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps we shorten the
He said, I want to plant the stars and stripes on Mars.
yes.
He said, we gave the Panama Canal to Panama, not China. We're taking it back.
Mm.
He says, we're going to plant the stars and stripes on Mars. Above all, it's time to act with courage, vigor, and liberate our nation.
That means
Can I-
war.
It's all cold talk. It's
Can I-
all
Yes.
cold
Yes.
talk.
Grab
yes,
some real
yes,
quick.
yes.
Give us Zephaniah 3.
This guy knows the Bible. He
Bruh.
knows the Bible.
Bruh. And you notice he said human civilization, so they still count us as 3/5 of a man. They don't even count us as humans still.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Denizens.
He said some of us need to be somewhere else. Some of us.
Right.
Right. Read that. 3 and 19.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 19. Behold,
Right?
at that time,
At that time we're talking about, read.
I will undo all that afflict thee.
Everything that's going on right now, the afflictions that we're getting in Colombia, the afflictions that we're getting in all of these nations, read.
And I will save her that halteth,
Right.
and gather her that was driven out.
He said, I'm going to gather them. My spirit hath gathered them. It's the same thing. God is working. Read.
And I will get them praise.
He said,
and
I'm going to
fame
get them praise and I'm going to get them a name again. Read.
in every land where they have been put to shame.
Where we were put to shame. Keep reading.
Verse 20. At that time will I bring you again,
Right?
even in the time that I gather
It's
you.
the same thing. Gathered together, O nation not desired, because he said in that time when we're gathered, there's promises coming to pass. The same thing that they already know. Read.
For I will make you a name,
Right?
and a praise among all people of the earth.
Because in Psalms 83, they said, let's cut them off so that Israel may be no more in remembrance. God said, nah, they going to remember your name. Read.
When I turn back your captivity.
When he does what?
Turn back your captivity.
He said, I'm going to turn back your captivity, what?
Before your eyes.
Before our eyes. So our eyes are going to look them in their face, and they're going to be amazed at the strangeness of that salvation.
Saith the Lord.
Hey, can I get one more script before we go back?
Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 8 and verse 23.
I still got these other
know.
articles, and you know the reading takes time.
Daniel 8:23. Bishop's been going over this, and it's making more sense of what we're seeing and what the scripture says. Come on.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance,
the last trump, Lord's will,
and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
And now why we see that council, this last trump, they understand dark sentences. This guy understands dark sentences.
Yeah, people were wondering, like, damn, how does somebody like Musk get linked up with Trump?
Right.
Got Robert Kennedy linked up with him. There's all types of talk and things like that.
Zuckerberg.
They had these meetings with each other, and they discussed these things behind closed doors.
Hey, Trump, we need to go to Mars ASAP, bro. Yeah.
Can you make
Let me
it
show
happen?
you something. The Bible
Right.
says, these black people, the Dark Ages, Trump, we got to go to Mars, bro. Yeah, bro.
Real quick.
All right, let me see what else we got.
You like that, right?
I'm
You like
trying,
that?
I'm
It was
trying to
great.
rush
It was
through.
great.
We're already plus.
Well, let's plus it. Another plus.
Show this one. Yes, show this one. So these are the Colombians coming back to Colombia. You tell me if these are criminals.
No,
volume.
¿Cómo fue el trato desde el principio?
Terrible.
So she said, how was your treatment from the
La
beginning? She said it was
comida.
horrible. Go ahead.
Con mi bebé casi me robaron en México, me robaron todos los documentos, el celular.
So stop. So she says in making her way there, she got robbed in Mexico. They took her documents, her cell phone, right? So even making the journey was rough for her, trying to get to the United States. Go ahead, come on.
Para mi bebé.
¿Cuánto tiempo estuviste detenido y cómo hiciste con el niño?
8 días.
So they had them
Él no ha
detained for
comido,
8 days.
Él está en desnutrición. Allá lo llevé al médico y él está en desnutrición. Él no ha comido en todos estos días, no ha comido.
Right. So remember, some of these people, as soon as they cross, they detain them, right? Like in nowhere's land, between the borders of Mexico and the U.S. So she's saying she wasn't treated good. Like there was hardly any food for her and the baby or anything while they were waiting to be deported back.
Her son was malnourished.
Yep. Go ahead.
¿Qué mensaje le das al país ahora que estás acá?
Que no se vayan.
Stop. So she said, what message you give to the country in Colombia now? Don't go. She said, don't go. Don't go. Go ahead. Come on.
No se vayan porque los están deportando a todos, no los van a
deporting
soltar
everybody.
al siguiente día, sino allá hay personas que llevan un mes, hay
They can
gente
detain you for a long
desaparecida.
time. There's people that disappear.
No, que no se vayan y ya hay ejército, ya mandaron soldados a las fronteras.
She said, and there's
Los
soldiers all along
ponen
the borders.
en el asilo, pero no los sueltan allá, los dejan. Nos dieron prioridad porque pues traemos a los bebés. Pero duré 8 días allá donde, sin comer bien, los tratos eran horribles, nos levantaban, mejor dicho, como si fuéramos lo peor del mundo.
They treated them poorly, like nothing.
We're the scum of the earth.
All right, go ahead.
Pero nos trataron muy mal. Nos botaron la ropa, nada más nos dejaron guardar el celular, no nos dejaban bañar, la comida, nos despertaban a las 3 de la mañana, nos esperaban que nos durmiéramos y a la hora nos despertaban,
They
nos
would
gritaban,
mess with them
algunos
sleep-wise.
pegaron.
Some of them got beat.
La atención médica prácticamente tocaba lastimarse para que nos dejaran salir. El trato fue muy malo desde el principio, la verdad.
¿Y cambió cuando llegó el gobierno de Colombia?
Sí, ya el último día no nos dejaron bañar, nos dejaron cepillar.
So he said, when we got to
Prácticamente nos
Colombia,
trataron
they took care of us. They let us brush. They let us bathe. Go ahead.
bien. Ahí sí nos decían que gracias, que dónde vivimos y todo eso. Ahí sí se preocuparon del todo, la verdad.
¿Qué mensaje le das al país?
No, pues la verdad que estamos felices de volver.
Just happy to be back.
Ansiábamos mucho estar en nuestra tierra, extrañábamos la verdad estar por acá y que la verdad algunos nos arrepentimos de habernos ido.
Yeah, so that you see it says out of Fuerza Colombia. That's the Air Force plane that he sent for them because he didn't want them coming in on U.S. military planes in handcuffs.
Right.
So I forgot where he flew the flight to pick them up. What else we got? What was this? No. That's just an excerpt from the thing. But if we don't get to the whole article, we'll read that part. So was that everything on all the videos and stuff? Okay, so now
That's
the
all the
articles.
videos.
Okay, so now the articles. The one that says cooperate or else. Trump's face-off is warning to all leaders. We're just going to read a little bit with that. I think that's what's next, no?
That one.
I didn't get to talk about, put up the headline about he revives push to denaturalize U.S. citizens. That's what I was talking about if people don't believe me. Yeah, Obi posted that. I don't want Obi's article. The hell he posting in the topic content for?
Come on, man. Get it together.
Tell you guys could post, but don't put it in the topic feed. Like, then you're going to mess me up. Yeah, let's just play the video for this one and raise the volume.
Certificate of any blood,
Play it from the
meaning
beginning.
that we do have identification, knowing.
Can you play it from the beginning? So there's
Nation-
ICE raids on tribal lands in Arizona.
That makes no sense.
So you think right? So I know the argument is like, okay, well maybe Colombians weren't part of the United States, like natives were, right? Like they were the ones that were here, right? We're still on one people. We're still on land that they took. Damn, I'm not even gonna get to go in those scriptures.
This is literally touching the Native American. This is all Northern Kingdom getting touched right now.
Yes, go ahead.
Dang.
Pushing back tonight against the administration's immigration roundups. The tribe says at least 15 people here in Arizona and New Mexico got questioned in their home or at work, asked to show proof of citizenship.
Stop.
They say they
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Where your papers at?
I'm gonna try not to curse here because it's pissing me the hell off.
Do it. No, I'm just kidding.
They went to their homes,
Right.
And their yacht.
to the original inhabitants,
The front door.
that they have their sovereignty,
Right.
at least in their papers, that they eventually acknowledged them, right?
Right.
To provide the proof of your, I'd have been like, give me the proof of your damn citizenship,
Right.
and it better not be your passport or your license.
Right.
Right.
Give me the proof of your damn citizenship,
Because this is the house of the thief.
Right.
bro. That's not enough time. There's not enough time.
Crazy.
There's so much more I want to bring out. I'm gonna have to run some of these back, but go ahead.
Real
Come
quick. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you did mess me up with your real quicks. Go ahead.
They have reached out to Homeland Security and state leaders to get to the bottom of this. The people on the reservation are in fear as many struggle to keep up with their documents. It's unclear if anyone was actually apprehended on tribal land.
With each of our tribes, with the Navajo Nation, for example, we do have a certificate of Indian blood, meaning that we do have identification, knowing that we are members of the Navajo Nation. And right now, it's very uncertain if that is being verified.
They say at least one
Captain
person
Gad
was.
and everybody that does the Gadite initiatives, y'all need to go to some of these places too. All right. I know the Navajo thing's kind of far from here, but we need to work something out here and go and hit,
Navajo
even if it's near here, and bring attention to this stuff, bro. Same thing like
Officer
Puerto Rico
Nathan.
needs to go to that barrio. We need to do something out here. New Mexico, she said they went to, because the Navajo Nation, I think, borders like 4 states or something, right?
Yeah, the 4 corners.
Y'all need, and not like 3 weeks from now, while this stuff is fresh happening, you need to send some men out. Yes, if you can get brothers to come from other camps, but if you can't, don't make that as an excuse. Go and freaking do it. All right, go and freaking do it. What else we got? I'm just gonna highlight some of the stuff. I'm just gonna highlight like I want to read the headlines and highlight some of it. So now they're saying, right? This headline says, "Cooperate or else Trump's Colombia face-off is a warning to all leaders," right? That he's trying to press up, right? Let me see what it says, because it's getting late, so I'm not gonna be able to do it. Oh, let's see what the summary is. The AI summary. Let's see if it's correct. Read that.
Trump threatens Colombia with tariffs and travel bans over refusal to accept deported migrants on U.S. military planes. Colombia agrees to accept migrants on U.S. military aircraft, avoiding tariffs from the U.S. The dispute highlights Trump's prioritization of immigration policies over trade measures, posing a test for his administration.
Right. So in the end, they said, well, we'll take some after the fact that come on the aircraft, but there's some stipulations. Damn, I'm going to have to save this stuff and go over some other stuff. Let me see here. Hold on. We have the article about he wants to denaturalize. Where's the other one that I wanted to put? Okay. Get the one where it says the Yahoo one. He got what he wanted with Colombia, but his tactics could come back to bite him. All right, let's read a little bit of this.
Trump got what he wanted with Colombia, but his tactics could come back to bite him. For Donald Trump, the confrontations are the point. In his first week back in the Oval Office, Trump has quickly torn up his predecessor's alliance-driven foreign policy in favor of an even more rambunctious 2.0 version of America First. His provocations have raised tensions with key allies on multiple continents and set up showdowns with other leaders that, at least politically, Trump will win regardless of how they respond.
Right, meaning for his image, it'll look just like the Colombia thing. It looks
Right.
like for his constituency that, oh, wow, yeah, this is the guy we voted for. Yeah, that's right. Back down. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Come on.
That was true of this weekend skirmish with Colombia, in which tensions over the return of migrants nearly sparked a trade war. But it could backfire in the long run. Further destabilization and already tenuous global order and even pushing would-be partner countries closer to Beijing.
Go ahead. Come on. All these ads. Come on.
People in Latin America are extremely worried, said George Heine, the former Chilean ambassador to China. For South America, the message is that it's not a good idea to be very closely interlinked with the United States because you might pay a heavy price.
Right. And that's good. That's the message we want everybody to hear and understand so they can return to the Lord. Like we read in Hosea 5:15, right? It's not a good idea to be very closely interlinked with the United States. Go ahead. Come on.
Continued Heine, who is now a professor at Boston University. And as a result of that, China's prospects for stronger ties have been enhanced.
But here comes Moab to swoop in, right, and try to milk, just suck off the tit too, right? Go ahead, come on.
As tensions between Washington and Bogota simmered Sunday afternoon, China's ambassador to Colombia posted an overture to China on X, reminding followers that Colombia's foreign minister visited Beijing last year and described the bilateral relationship as the best moment in 45 years.
Read.
Colombia is hardly the only country reeling from Trump's confrontational style. Of greater concern to allies, he's continued to express his determination to wrest control of Greenland from the Danes, to take back the Panama Canal from Panama, to impose major tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and Europe, and to continue suggesting Canada's simplest way to avoid tariffs is to become America's 51st state.
All right, go ahead, read.
Given the economic and military superiority of the United States, Trump almost always has the upper hand as he applies pressure on leaders of Canada, Denmark, and now Colombia, all steadfast allies with a history of working closely with Washington. But after 4 years in which former President Joe Biden prioritized multilateral coordination with key allies, Trump's aggressive moves, all carried out with characteristic bluster on social media, have come as a shock, even to leaders who felt more ready for a second term than they did his first.
Right, so they even though they work with America closely, they still, like, he's still beyond what they thought that they would get, right? You want to talk about those basemen and being the heart of the king. Go ahead, scroll. I want to get to the point that I posted. Nope, scroll. It starts with, but what Trump did with Colombia. Keep going. It's not there. No, yeah, keep going. Keep going. Scroll. I'm just jumping through. There was a lot of good stuff in here, but for the sake of time, I'm jumping through it.
What does it say?
I posted just the excerpt of what it says, but it's in the chat in words right under the article. But I want to see if we find it. There we go.
Right there.
Just read that part.
But what Trump did with Colombia is a prime example of how the United States is going to lose ground further in Latin America to Chinese influence there.
Meaning it's only, he folded.
Right.
He got something else up his sleeve.
Right.
It's not necessarily a better alternative because it's still part of the Confederacy.
Right. Exactly.
But they realized that the United States is not the friend that they thought they were. Go ahead. Come on.
Manouk said. Because it's a great way for China to say, hey, you want financing, you want all these things, we'll help you out. Like you can't trust the United States.
Right, you can't trust the United States. Okay, let's get the other article. Oh no, so no. Before we get to that, I want to. We're gonna close with Jeremiah 49, but I want to read the one that says Trump isn't going to like the fallout from his flight with Colombia. Oh, first, before you show that, show the other one about Guantanamo. Guantanamo. We're just going to read a little bit of this one. Go ahead.
Trump orders Guantanamo Bay be prepared for the worst undocumented immigrants.
And you would sit that and say, okay, he's going to send like the gangs and the ones that came here and did that. That's fine. Send them there. But you really don't think these others are going to get mixed up in that mess?
Right.
Of course they are.
Later.
They already are.
He said they're all criminals.
Yep.
Right.
You tell me if people off that plane that we saw, if they look like criminals or they spoke like criminals.
They didn't even have coats.
Bruh. So he's using Guantanamo. So they said under Biden, Guantanamo Bay only had like 15 prisoners. So now he's setting it up so that they can send 30,000 there. Let's just read a little bit in the beginning.
President Donald Trump on Wednesday signed a memorandum to begin preparing a facility on the Guantanamo Bay naval base to detain tens of thousands of the worst undocumented immigrants.
Now understand what's at play here. In their own kind of legality, there's only but certain things that they can do here in the States and in the eyes of the public and the media.
Right.
But in Guantanamo Bay, that's where you go when you want to torture people,
Yes.
when you want to hide people, where you want people to be forgotten.
Yes.
Right? Go ahead.
The action, which Trump discussed for the first time earlier Wednesday, will instruct the Pentagon and Department of Homeland Security to prepare 30,000 beds at the site of the infamous U.S. military prison in Cuba. The president said, to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad, we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back. So we're going to send them out to Guantanamo.
That's the
Trump
justification.
said.
Okay, jump to the one about the Laken-Riley Act.
Trying to send them to the island of Patmos. Crazy work.
Damn, and there was something I wanted to get to the point. So he signed into law, and Congress was on board with it. So apparently, allegedly, this Venezuelan guy, Venezuelan migrant, killed this Edomite girl while she was jogging around the university, right? And it's possible. I'm telling you, like some of the countries that we go, they're dangerous. They're some of the people are bloodthirsty, right? I'm not gonna put that past us. But scroll, I'm going to tell you what I want to read. We were going to read more of it in its entirety, but keep going, keep going. The main thing that you got to understand about this law is, let me see. Keep going. Stop. Nope, keep going. Stop. I should have highlighted the text on this. Keep going. Stop right there. Critics.
Critics took issue with the provision in the law requiring a person to be detained after being charged for a crime rather than after they are convicted.
So, if you are an immigrant, if you are even a naturalized citizen and you commit a crime, even if you're not convicted, let's say you're just arrested, you know how you can be like falsely arrested or falsely accused?
Right.
You can be detained like indefinitely. So yes,
Frameth mischief.
yes,
By law.
yes. There's more nuance to it, but this is the issue that they have with it. Go ahead, come on.
House of GOP lawmakers first cleared the bill in March, less than a month after Riley was killed, but Democrats controlled the Senate at that time. When the House approved the legislation again earlier this year, the Republican-controlled Senate took up a version of the bill that added amendments to include the assault of a law enforcement officer to the list of offenses that would lead to detainment and to include the detainment of migrants without legal status charged with crimes causing death or serious bodily injury.
So, meaning just the fact that somebody accused you of something and the police get involved and arrest you, whether or not you're convicted, they can detain you and deport you.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, right. So now you got that cooking, right? Let's go ahead. What else we got? Let me get the part.
Yo, so he's turning up the pot like crazy, like no filter.
Hey, if y'all enjoying this class, let's get some fire emojis in the chat.
Let me get the last one, and then we're going to wrap. Let's get this one. Trump isn't going to like the fallout from his flight with Colombia to MSNBC. There it is. Is that the one?
That's NBC.
Trump isn't going to like the fallout is the headline. That's it. Let's read this. Go ahead.
Trump isn't going to like the fallout from his fight with Colombia.
Read.
For a few hours on Sunday, the United States and Colombia engaged in a full-blown economic tate-tate. Is that say right?
I think it's tete-a-tete.
Tete-a-tete.
Uh-huh.
President Donald Trump wrote on Truth Social that two repatriation flights of to-be deported U.S. immigrants were not allowed to land in Colombia. This spurred him to impose urgent and decisive retaliatory measures against South American ally that included a 25% tariff on all imports, a travel ban on Colombia government officials and all allies and supporters, increased surveillance of all Colombian nationals and goods within U.S. borders, and sanctions on cross-country financial transactions.
Go ahead.
The diverted planes were real, but there were some missing details.
So don't think this guy folded. The diverted planes were real, but there's missing details. You're getting your stuff in a bubble from American media, right? And now, while this is an American media outlet, but not everybody's going to be so forthcoming to report full details.
Right.
And I'm sure there's even more that we don't really know what went down, right? But go ahead, come on.
Colombia had previously agreed to accept these passengers.
So that's the part that's unknown, right? And they're making it sound like he folded. No, he said, yeah. Let's going to do this. Go ahead. Come on.
According to CNN. But the government had backtracked because of how the deportees...
Because of how they were treated, which we just saw an excerpt of just two people they interviewed of how they were treated, right? Go ahead. Come on.
How the deportees had been treated. As a Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, noted in a Sunday morning public statement, the immigrants in question had been loaded onto military-owned airplanes instead of chartered civilian aircraft. A highly unusual move, as a Rolling Stone put it. We will receive our fellow citizens on civilian planes without treating them like criminals.
Good. I'm glad he stood up. Go ahead. Come on.
Petro had written hours before Trump came in with the threats.
Go ahead.
In subsequent posts, Petro highlighted the fact that he had temporarily blocked such flights.
And he said it was temporary because he wanted to sort things out. They wanted to say, oh, he's refusing, right? Go ahead. Come on.
From the Biden administration in 2023 for similar reasons.
So under Biden, so don't think it's just a Trump thing.
Right.
It's a United States thing. It's a Esau thing. It's the wicked thing, right? Go ahead, come on.
And later responded to Trump with a lengthy tweet decrying American racism and announcing a 50% counter tariff on imports of U.S.
He
goods.
said, all right, you want to do this, right, with your 25 and then 50, then we're going to do 50 off of what you ship here and try to make us buy. Go ahead, come on.
Damn.
The defiance didn't last long, however.
So that don't sound like folded to me. That sound like he was going with it. Go ahead, come on.
In response to warnings from domestic experts that this tariff clash would decimate Colombia's economy.
Right, so they said, look, basically you're going to cut your nose to spite your face. I know you're trying to make a stand here so that this guy don't look like a bully, but his advisors told him, and I'm going to tell you what they told him because later in the article is going to say something. You're going to do more harm than good in this initially. Let's try to save some face. And then on the back end, look, I got Honduras ready to work with us.
Right.
I got Brazil, Panama's in the mix now. Mexico starting to talk with us. And China's ready to roll with us too.
Right.
Right?
Damn.
Agree with
Go
that
ahead, come
adversary.
on.
In response to warnings from domestic experts that this tariff clash would decimate Colombia's economy, Petro's administration agreed to Trump's repatriation terms and has sidestepped the trade war for now. The White House boasted that the South American nation would facilitate unrestricted acceptance of all illegal aliens.
So they did like the pigeon that even if you win, they're going to walk all over the board and shit on it. Right? Go ahead. Come and say they won.
From Colombia returned from the United States, including on U.S. military aircraft. Per the New York Times, the U.S. government did make some concessions to Colombia.
So they did make. He tried to make it seem like they didn't do no concessions.
Like they steamrolled.
Yeah. We showed them, and it wasn't like that. Go ahead, come on.
By agreeing not to handcuff and photograph the deportees.
So this was the issue that they had. Remember the post that we saw earlier that people wanted to live stream it and everything?
Yeah.
So they were saying they didn't want you. Don't be photographing, filming them, and don't handcuff them. Go ahead, come on.
And dispatching Homeland Security staffers instead of military officers.
Right, you're sending military people like these guys are criminals or war criminals, right?
As flight escorts.
Right, so he agreed to those things, which is why they're coming. So they're trying to say, well, they're still coming on military planes, but now these are the stipulations that they're able to come in on. Go ahead, come on.
Meanwhile, Colombia's foreign ministry insisted that it would grant the deportees decent conditions as citizens subject to rights.
Which we saw. He said, hey, as soon as we got here, we were treated good. They let us take showers. They fed us. They clothed us. Go ahead, come on.
Use the presidential air fleet to pick up deportees who would have otherwise become passengers on military planes.
So that wasn't just a regular Air Force plane. That was like the Air Force One for Petro.
Right.
Right, he sent his presidential fleet to get them in a dignified way.
Right.
So that's a level of unity. That's esteem others better. He could be like, I'm the president. It don't matter. Right.
Right.
Where the hell we at?
Right.
That's facts.
We ain't got no type of regard for each other in some things sometimes.
That's facts.
Go ahead, come on.
So as to guarantee respect for the rights of citizens and to carry out medical monitoring if necessary. And dispatch officials to Washington this week to iron out details with Trump.
All right, so they're going to have a little sit down with, they're going to send their ambassadors and stuff. But go ahead, come on.
Colombia isn't the first nation to have materially countered Trump's deportation plans.
Read.
Still, its tiff with the U.S. is indicative of some lesser-known trade entanglements between North and South America and of the potential for Trump administration to hurt Americans' pocketbooks in its craven pursuit of mass deportations. The impact of the bout between the two nations.
So all in one day, without even any of these things being imposed, look at what wound up happening.
Was felt as it unfolded. A price spike for Arabic coffee futures on the European markets. The U.S. receives 30% of its coffee supply from Colombia.
So that's commodities. When they trade in commodities, based on what was happening here, people started trading for and against it. So, the money grubber's always there. But it wound up spiking the price because they were like, oh, stop. This is about to get limited, right? Go ahead. Colombia has the second best coffee. It's Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's the best coffee. Go ahead, come on.
Heightened America fears that there wouldn't be enough fresh cut flowers imported overwhelmingly from Colombia, stocked on store shelves in time for Valentine's.
Right, so all the Hallmark holidays,
right.
That was actually a big enough thing that people in America were worried about the flowers. Wow. Go ahead, come on.
And shakeups in the markets for U.S. oil and corn exports.
Right. This is why he said to put 50% tariffs on the oil and corn that you send to us. Go ahead, come on.
Colombia takes in billions of dollars worth of both each year.
Right, because remember, they're forbidden to really deal with Venezuela that way. Even though Venezuela's right there, they have some dealings. The sanctions, I was going to go over that with the scripts and stuff. We just ran out of time. The sanctions that they put, that they can't buy or sell unless they accept the mark, okay?
Right.
Prevents them from doing those type of things. But you're going to see as we keep reading the article that they're lining up plans to pull away next time he comes with that BS. It was kind of like, all right, you can save your face for now. But we're going to see what happens later. Go ahead, come on.
As WLRN Public Media notes, Colombia is the United States' 10th largest trading partner by weight and the largest country of origin for imports processed through South Florida. Those include plenty of agricultural products, which have already proved to be a sore spot between the two nations. Colombia provoked American ire last year when it raised tariffs on U.S. milk powder and began an investigation into its northern neighbors' lavish corn subsidies, sparking bipartisan worry that U.S. corn producers could lose an important customer.
Right. So this goes into the globalism. I was going to expand on that a little more too, but it goes into the understanding of how globalism works. Right. Go ahead. Come on.
On Thursday, all Latin America but beyond trade relations, there's the important fact that Colombia has long been the United States' closest Latin American ally. The country is an eager partner in taking down drug traffickers in the region, and it serves as a liberal democratic counterpart to its authoritarian neighbor, Venezuela. As such, the Trump-Petro spat is already provoking worries within Latin America more broadly. On Thursday, all Latin America heads.
Here it is. Go ahead. Come on.
All Latin American heads of state will meet for an emergency
All
summit.
Latin America. Or for this one thing, all Latin America heads of states, so that's all the presidents or their prime ministers or ambassadors, however they have it set up, are going to meet tomorrow for an emergency summit. Go ahead.
To discuss migration, the environment, and regional unity.
In regional unity. In regional unity. Go ahead, come on.
Per the Financial Times, Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia will obviously be key players here, but so will Panama.
That don't sound like folding to me.
Right.
That sounds like wisdom and unifying. Go ahead, come on.
Whose government has been roiled by Trump's repeated threats to take back the Panama Canal.
Hey, let me tell you something. When we went to Panama, even though Benji's a fake Panamanian, all right, but he was like born and raised there for a time. Even though Officer Benji's a fake Panamanian, I'm telling you, I said it last time. As soon as we got in the car on the last day of the last camp, he said, man, all I'm gonna say is, F Panama. Panama sucks. He said none of them want to repent because they uppity. They feel good because they got the canal and this, that, and the other, right? So, in Panama City, they're uppity about the canal. In Colón, they're uppity about Christianity, right? So we had like two different cities and they were all, because let me tell you, Panama City, you would kind of expect it, right? Even though the neighborhood we were at, because there's a lot of resources and money there.
Right. And what flows
But
through the
Colón, if any of you were on the quest in Colón, that's poor as hell, bro. Like, they throw their garbage just on the street. There's, like, no sanitation, nothing like that. And yet they still wanted to reject the gospel. They were, like, trying to subdue the captains from talking against Christianity the second day on the radio show that we were there, right? So,
that's right.
Right. So it's saying that even Panama's in the mix, right? Go ahead. Even
before Joe Biden had left office, Petro and presidents of Chile, Bolivia, and Mexico had banded together to assure that the canal would remain under Panamanian control.
So they're doing preemptives, meaning that they've heard rumblings through their intelligence and everything that this. Let me tell you, Trump's didn't come on scene. They said during Biden. That means people in the intelligence community knew that they're trying to make it seem like it was Trump's idea.
Right.
Somebody threw that on Trump's plate.
He's just there to execute.
And maybe I'm wrong, but he didn't start talking about that until after he won the election.
Right.
So at that point, you already have your transition team in place, and there's people from within the government trying to line you up. They're prepping him, even though he's not sworn in. So they were probably giving him the skinny on that stuff, and he just started to talk bold about it. Right? Go ahead. Come on.
Sure, Trump could continue to aim tariffs at these countries, but it wouldn't be as easy to go after an entire bloc.
Right. So it says, a house divided cannot stand.
Right.
But if they go after the whole block of countries, now he can't try to threaten the way he's threatening.
Right.
Go ahead. Come on.
As the Columbia writer Cruz Bonloren Martinez points out in a Hill op-ed, Latin America and Caribbean account for 21.3% of U.S. foreign trade, equal to over $1 trillion.
Economically, Latin America and the Caribbean account for 21.3% of U.S. foreign trade. That's over $1 trillion a year. Go ahead, come on.
If the region consciously decided to look towards other trading partners, the U.S. economy would feel the effects, and not just in coffee prices. The region as a whole constitutes the world's leading net food exporter.
So they try to say like Ukraine is the breadbasket of the world,
right?
as far as grains.
Right.
Central Latin America and the Caribbean feeds the world.
Dang.
We are the world's leading net food exporter, right? And this goes into the harvest of empire, and it's not just food. It's going to mention some other resources here. Northern Kingdom has more power than they realize if they can get over their own pettiness within their own countries with each other.
Crazy.
And it seems like Trump's moves are galvanizing them to come together to create the environment that the scripture speaks of for people to turn against them. Let's read this next thing, and then we're going to close with these scriptures.
According to the United Nations, in addition, while the bulk of American imports hail from Mexico, the U.S. also receives essential products from specialist countries like Peru, berries and minerals.
Berries and minerals, Peru provides that.
Chile, copper, which has particularly high global demand.
Chile does copper, which is necessary for all the technology. You got copper wires and components and all this stuff. Go ahead, come on.
Bolivia, manufacturing metals.
So supposedly these are shithole countries, according to people like Trump and his ilk, right? But it says that they get manufacturing metals from Bolivia. Go ahead, come on.
Brazil, machine equipment. Guatemala, textile. And the Dominican Republic, medical tech.
Dominicans, you got something.
Right.
Wow, that's
Don't let them tell you that. Don't let them tell you that it's just for sexual tourism that they go over there, right?
Right.
Okay. Why you said that so emphatically?
I was thinking about.
You were thinking about going one time?
No.
Yeah.
Dominican Republic is one of the largest exporters to America of medical equipment.
Nobody would think of that.
No, they would not think about it, of medical
I
equipment.
wouldn't think of.
Go ahead, come on.
These countries collectively hold a varied basket of goods that would pinch Americans' pockets if they earn Trump's tariffs treatment.
Go ahead, read.
What's more, these countries are also earning the support of far-flung allies. A Canadian ex-minister is calling for a strategic coalition between nations that have been attacked by Trump, including Mexico, Panama, and Denmark, and encouraging her country to publish a list of U.S. goods that would be affected by the tariffs Canada is already planning in retaliation to Trump. For example, machine components, chemicals, and energy. That planned strike back has cross-partisan support among the U.S. northern neighbors.
So they got Canada involved with them. China's already in the mix, and he's having a trade war with China. And now you have all these Latin American countries that are trying to galvanize together, right? Go ahead. Let's read this last paragraph.
So far, Latin America leaders have not been as aggressive with Trump as Petro was on Sunday. But they have been just as openly concerned over the human rights and dignified treatment of deported immigrants. Before the weekend's incidents, leaders from Colombia, Brazil, and Mexico teamed up with 7 regional neighbors to release a joint statement calling for a humanistic approach to deportations. Earlier this month, Honduras president had threatened to kick U.S. military officers out of her borders in response to a hostile attitude of mass expulsion of our brothers.
Which we saw the video. Go ahead, come on.
And while Mexico has pledged to cooperate with repatriation efforts, it has ruled out any cooperation with the Remain in Mexico initiative that pushes asylum seekers to remain south to the Rio Grande, while waiting for an approval hearing that could take years to schedule. The country's president has beefed up immigration assistance infrastructure and already alluded to a scheme in place in case there is any violation of the human rights of Mexicans who arrive in our country. Those sentiments were only reinforced on Saturday when leaders in Brazil's government found out that the deportees the country was receiving from the U.S. had been shackled in handcuffs and denied basic necessities like drinkable water and bathroom access.
Right, and we saw a testimony of how that happened.
Wow.
So let me tell you, it's turning up. Let's get Jeremiah 49:14. I'm going to tell you something. Northern Kingdom's been pushing these missions. We're going to push them even more. Y'all need to hit down here and see that QR code right there. Support that booster club.
Right.
Support that booster club. Support these missions so that we can go out and do what needs to get done.
Right.
All right? Because now's the time because that Hosea 5:15 needs to be pressed upon our people right now. All right? Let's read this. Jeremiah 49.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle.
You're seeing the beginning of those things right now. We just read that in these articles. Go ahead, come on.
For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men.
Right, so you're going to start that despising is already in full effect. Go ahead, come on.
Thy terribleness hath deceived thee,
Uh-huh.
and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
It's telling you who it's
Who it
directed
is,
to,
right.
who it is. And it says, thy pride of thine heart, thy terribleness have deceived thee. He think he coming in there.
Yes,
Right.
it's him deporting
Uh-huh.
again everybody.
All of that. Go and in the manner that he's doing it,
Right.
and he's showing his ass about what the United States is really about. Go ahead, come on.
That holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle.
Oh, hell, it's talking about the eagle.
Wait a minute.
It's telling you who it is.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead, come on.
I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord.
Come on.
Also, Edom shall be a desolation.
Uh-oh, going
Every
hard.
one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
And hiss at
all
all
the
the plagues thereof.
Wow.
Hey, I'm going to stop there. It's already almost 11 o'clock. We plus the hell out of this thing today.
That was a times 5, I think.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Hey, all praises. A lot of y'all stuck with us.
Straight up.
I know it's late where some of y'all is at. I appreciate y'all sticking with us as we went through a bunch of this. All right. Whew.
As y'all see what's going
I
on.
rushed through it. I rushed through it at the end. I
As
had a
y'all
lot
see
more.
what's going on, yo, donate to the Booster Club somewhere over there.
Doing that move.
The Israelites will be traveling again. The leadership will be traveling to the northern kingdom countries.
Bringing more fire.
Because they got to see this. Our people got to see this.
I'm disappointed. I had more, but I'll be here until like 2 in the morning.
Let's
Like,
do it.
Do it.
I'll
Let's
be here
do
like
it.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Right.
I mean,
Hey.
I could, but I can't.
Donate to the Booster Club. Donate to the Booster Club. Y'all see what time we're at.
Right.
Y'all see the time we're at.
Hey, gather together, man.
And the leadership is going to make the moves. But we
Hey.
need your support.
Give him the QR. Give him the QR, and I want y'all to put in the QR that you mad at IT for not having a phone number to call in.
Damn it.
Do it now. Move.
Yeah.
We're seeking
do
your
it.
assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions.
I couldn't call in.
And let them know that Officer Shad did
Man,
not
some
set
people
up.
was like, do it. Keep
Right.
going.
Straight up.
Oh, snap.
It's
Be
12:50
like
here
one
in
of the
DC,
marathon
Florida.
classes.
Dang.
Uh-huh.
Woo!
All right. What else?
And next.
Support the Booster Club. The Power Hour Plus on Instagram. Let us know. Sorry. Let us know. Follow us on Instagram. A lot more reels are going to be coming out. Images. Y'all see the images coming up.
Boo, IT, boo.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All praises.
I
All
don't know. I'll
praises.
see. I'll see if I go over this next week or next
It's
time.
12:51 in Baltimore.
We'll see what's happening. I don't know. More stuff is going to come out.
Yeah.
Like and share and subscribe. Hey, also, Israel UnitedInChrist. Y'all saw today what's going on. Israel UnitedInChrist. Help our numbers go up on Israel UnitedInChrist. We definitely need the subscribers on that. Also, again, the Booster Club. If you can give $5 right now,
Do it now. Move.
do it.
Right.
Do it
Don't
now.
$5 right now from the 500. Well, now it's 480 watchers that we had. That will go a long way. You will definitely make a boost from here to
In the Booster
Passover
Club.
in the Booster Club.
That's right.
From here
Boost
to
the Booster Club.
From here to Passover, if you donate $5, guess what? That is gonna make a long way journey for the Israelites to travel,
Yeah,
for the
fam.
prophets to travel.
All right. Y'all stay safe. Stay in the spirit. Most High in Christ bless y'all. Shalom.
Shalom.